You've been summoned here for your crimes against pop culture. I am looking for the worst of the worst, and you have been selected. I am going to enjoy this, my friend. You aren't going to die easy. Justice.
Wait, I'm not Justice.
What do you mean you're not Justice?
I'm Jack.
Who's Jack?
Oh, Jack's the former producer. I just have a measly show. You're looking for the other brown guy whose name begins with the letter J.
Well, you kind of all look the same to me.
Well, you can go find Justice or take Austin, but I'm like really, I'm protected by the Chinese government. But don't tell anyone I told you.
Nonsense!
Yes, yeah. So listen,
Tony, did you get the right one?
Austin's in Vegas and Justice is in Boston. So, can I go?
All right, great.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and genders all across the spectrum. Welcome to the 34th episode of Jivin with Jack, and we're still not canceled. Why? Because you people keep tuning in, and we appreciate it. I do want to make a quick thank you and a shout out to my friend DJ Nuzzles. She made the intro theme for the show, but when we did it on the first episode, something that sounded similar hit us with a copyright strike, and it took us all this time to kind of get it back. So now we're using her intro and her outro. Thank you, DJ Nuzzles. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot, and I mean a lot, to talk to. Denis Villeneuve, director of Dune and Blade Runner, has said some things about the MCU. I'm not saying he watches my show and got the same idea. That's exactly what I'm saying. Plus, Shang-Chi looks like it's going to dominate a third week at the box office. Next up, we're going to talk a little about Christopher Nolan and his details about his movie, and then we're going to touch on the three bad ladies, Gina Carano, Rose McGowan, and the Queen of Ass herself, Miss Nicki Minaj. But before I continue, before I start, before I can enunciate what I have to say, I have to bring in my co-host, who has started his new show on Monday nights here at Pop Culture Corner, Lean on Me, the man with the $1 million voice, Austin Lean 316.
What is up? What is up? What is up, man? How you doing? Happy Thursday to everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you, man. Thank you for that. As always, the phenomenal intros that you give me. I just love it. So thanks, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Can I tell you a funny story? I think I might have told the story already.
Yeah.
But I always call you Austin Lean 316. Right. And I was hanging out with a friend who knows nothing about wrestling, and I was wearing an Austin 316 shirt. That person thought that I wore that shirt like in honor of you. I'm like, no. Austin 316.
No. I like to think, Jack, that you wear that shirt in honor
of you. True.
But what is up, everybody in the chat? What is up, everybody watching, guys? Thank you so much for being here. TW, my boy TW is in the chat. Geek Studios is in the chat. Justin Hines is in the chat. Insight, you guys are the best. Thank you guys so much. We couldn't do it without you. And again, don't forget to like, share this video, subscribe. Let everybody know we're live because we got some fun topics today.
We do. And we just want to thank our members. Austin, would you like to name them? Because
Sure. Here
we go.
Here we go. So we got all the members here. I think this is an older list, but it's okay. I do remember that Roblox is on there. So Roblox, if you're watching, don't get mad. Here's your shout out. I'll give you one now and at the end. Roblox, Saggy Melons, Benson's, Prakash Swain, DC Talk with Extended, Adam Silvestri, That One Carlos, Resident Justice, Billy Robert, Nick Carr, John Rodell, Justin Hines, Kinky Sphincter, love that name, Caden Reed, Sean Adame, Nick DePalma, Jack S, T Rob, Alien OV1023, and again, Roblox. I know you're on there. For some reason we don't have the updated list in here, but that's okay. So shout out Roblox. You guys are the best. You're the lifeblood of the channel. Don't forget to hit that membership button if you can. If you want to go the extra mile, if you want to help us out a little bit more, starts at $2.99, goes all the way up to $9. And guys, we thank you so much. And again, this month also we have our Justice League giveaway, which is eligible for all channel members or anybody becoming a channel member. So make sure get on that, because at the end of September we are going to give away a couple copies of Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then with that, I think I did all the housekeeping.
That's it. Yeah. And we have super chats. Look, guys,
we have super chats, but guys, we're not here for the money. We're here for you.
Look, Jack is. I had to come back to work. If you saw the opening skit for Tuesday, I paid Japanese women to massage me. That stuff is not cheap.
Right.
I mean, I gotta be relaxed. I had to pay them to buy certain outfits, and I got canceled because I had to do the show. But that's okay. But it's in a couple of thousands, so if you guys can use super chats, it'd be much appreciated. But we'll always engage with you regardless. So, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and get right to it?
I got a quick shout out real quick. Check out this Dunder Mifflin shirt I got. There, right? Yeah. Representing that Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Shout out Office fans out there. But yeah.
Yeah, man, dude, The Office is so popular. Like, that's the other sitcom after Friends that everyone talks about. Even younger people who grew up after it was on, they love it. It's such a brilliant show, and it's just amazing. So I know you're a fan of auteurs. I am a fan of auteurs. Director Denis Villeneuve, who is directing the new Dune adaptation, which looks amazing. And he also directed Blade Runner 2049, which, again, I thought was phenomenal. I never thought you could make a sequel to Blade Runner that would be good, but he did it. Well, he had some choice words for Marvel. He said that they're cut and paste and have turned us into zombies. Oh, my goodness. He must be hanging out with Mr. Martin Scorsese.
You must have seen that What If episode. All right, where's that last track? No, man. I think he's right. I think he's right.
Yeah,
I think he's right.
I think to some degree, yeah.
Look, Marvel has become incredibly formulaic. I felt that most recently with Black Widow, to the point that I was like, "Come on, this is so overly formulaic and predictable, and just." Nothing about that movie really, when I think about it again, makes me care about it.
Yeah,
it's so basic early Marvel formula. Even Shang-Chi, as much as I liked it, there's a lot of formulaic stuff in there.
Yeah,
and I was very happy to see the changes that they made. But I agree. I don't know if he's been watching Phase 4, because Loki and WandaVision do not follow the formula.
I feel like he probably doesn't.
Right. As much as I don't like WandaVision, I give Marvel that credit in that they very much break the mold with those shows. But other than that, I agree, man. Look, Marvel has become this. I don't know how to say it. I do agree. It
feels like they're pumped out. Right. They're not great. Well, some of them are great, but they feel it's sort of like, when you go to a factory and they pump out hot dogs, you're getting hot dogs. You're not getting great sausage, you're just getting hot dogs. It tastes fine. You put some ketchup, mustard on there, and boom, you're good. Or when you go to McDonald's, you know what you're getting.
Right.
And McDonald's is good, but you don't want to eat McDonald's all the time. Or as our friend Owen Gleiberman says, you don't want to eat popcorn all the time. There were some moments, I felt, especially with the first Iron Man, Tony Stark is douchey. He's sarcastic. He's quippy. And then they're like going into phase 2, like, okay, we got to make these characters more interesting. What if we, or phase 3, what if we made every character like Tony Stark? Let's make every character quippy, sarcastic, funny. And while it works out like they did with Thor, and it worked because Thor had evolved. Like he was like the god of thunder in the first one, then he's second one, then third one, he's like more down to earth. I like that. But it seems like there were times where the humor kind of got out of control. Like the best sequence in Shang-Chi, I thought, at least for my opinion, was the bus sequence, right?
Really?
And, yeah, at least the action sequence. I thought. Really? Yeah, I liked the bus sequence. Well, I think about it, but
it's not bad. It's not bad. I think for me the best one or besides the end stuff, because the end stuff was great, was the kind of like Skyfall type night scene that they had. I enjoyed that. You know, that they're on the rise on the whatever the scrap or whatever.
But in it, there's a character in Shang-Chi on the bus, right? And he's got his phone out and he's recording it. He makes a joke. I'm recording this. We're live on the bus. And I thought that was funny. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Then the fight gets dangerous. Like the dude takes out his, he's got like a blade on his hand or whatever. And the next dude keeps like, oh man, the bus is out of control. I would get in front of the bus, but I got in trouble the last time I drove a bus. Like all of a sudden it was like, okay, now dude, now the danger's escalated.
Right.
And he kept, there was like a heavyset guy that kept coming back to him again and again. And I was like, I was like, oh, come on, stop interrupting. And then there's a part on the plane where Shang-Chi's telling the history of his family to Awkwafina. And then they interrupted with this joke about, would you like vegetarian or beef? Vegetarian. We're not a vegetarian. Beef. Right. Like, it wasn't funny, but like at that moment when I'm being invested in mythology, you don't have to break the tension every single time to throw in a joke. You know what I mean?
Right. And I know I saw that comment, Jacob. And what's up, everybody in the chat? Hello. Thank you so much for watching, as always. And Jacob says, at this point, it's not even worth the effort to argue about it. Filmmaker, actor, etc. takes a shot at the MCU, and haters laugh at it. They also usually have a project of their own to promote. Earlier, he said, I don't like Denis, and I never liked Denis as an actor. I'm very curious as to why. I don't want to make any prejudgments or say anything before. I would love to hear your reasoning as to why. I think he's quite honestly probably one of the greatest living directors right now. He has not had a bad movie. Look at his repertoire. Has not had a bad movie. Enemy, Prisoners, Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, he did Sicario?
He did Sicario.
I did not know that.
So that's what I'm saying. He's proven himself that he can do very grounded, intense thriller drama. He can do epic fantasy sci-fi. He can do psychological with Arrival and with Prisoners. He is.
He did Arrival too. Oh my God, I did not know that.
He is, in my opinion, the greatest sci-fi. He's one of the greatest directors working today. He's up there with Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese. He's 10 times better than Steven Spielberg. Oh my God, he shits on Steven Spielberg.
My worry is, it's not that we hate the MCU, Jacob. We don't. We love the MCU. I love Shang-Chi. I had such a fun time with it. But I feel like if more movies are like this, not like Shang-Chi, so to speak, but like Black Widow, studios imitate. After Jaws came out, everyone come out with a Orca. Here comes Orca. Halloween comes out. Let's do Friday the 13th. Black Christmas. Let's do these movies that imitate. Right. You will lose the intelligent action thriller like Denis does, right? Like James Cameron does.
Prisoners.
Like Chris Nolan does.
And Prisoners, Enemy, and Sicario are some of the best action thrillers of this millennium, of the 2020s. Like flat out, they're up there. And I'm a DC fan. I'm an MCU fan, but I'm not like blinded by my love of it, so to speak.
Well, I was gonna throw Zack Snyder there. Like he doesn't always hit the mark, but he's
Batman versus Superman. Batman versus Superman Ultimate Edition, I don't care what anybody says, is the messiest of the trilogy.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it. I personally enjoy it a lot. Mm-hmm. I can very much see why a lot of people still think it's not a good movie. It's incredibly messy. It's a lot of metaphors and symbolism and stuff that I'm sure Zach in that movie assumes a lot of people knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. You can't always play that way as a director. Christopher
Exactly.
Nolan is a great example with some of
Yeah.
the last few movies of that. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't like Dunkirk because of the time stuff. They were just so confused.
Yeah.
Tenet,
I had to do the Dunkirk.
Tenet was what the actual hell was that?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
But,
that
like,
one was
like,
that one was the
like-
big slap in the face because in the movie the character is like, don't even try to understand it, and I was like, screw you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
But even like Justice League, you know, the story is pretty basic. It's not like, you know,
yes,
it's a pretty basic story. We got to unite the heroes. We got to fight this being called Sevenwolf. But
yes.
you can tell that each
But it's a
scene
story of evolution and growth, I think.
Yeah.
And you feel that.
But like every scene feels like a Zack Snyder. The action feels like Zack Snyder. What I've heard is with Marvel, and I think you were the one who told me this, that even before they even finished the script, Marvel Studios already has pre-visualized the fight scenes.
I think for the
And
most
the
part,
directors kind of make the movie around it. So like, you know, let's say the airport scene or like the last act of Black Widow where they're flying through the sky, like that was already pre-visualized. And the directors are like, don't worry about that stuff. Write the movie around these scenes. And you can tell that Black Widow, I thought, was at its best when you knew the director was directing the scene. You know, whether it's Black Widow's sister talking to the dad, I've already forgot their names, you know, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, this feels better. This, like, I would like more of this. You know what I think is one of the best scenes in Civil War? Is when Tony and Cap are talking about Wanda being imprisoned. Just great dramatic acting. Just acting. He's like, she's in a detention. Like, oh, come on, Tony's like, they don't grant visas to weapons of mass destruction. And like, what's great about that scene is a quick moment when after Cap throws the pen down, he's like, I don't want to break up the set. This is what Tony does. He puts his glasses on and he looks away. Why? Because he's actually insecure. So he puts the glasses on. That's not why I wear glasses, by the way. But he puts the glasses on. Like, there's something going on in that scene because you have the Russo brothers. And I would like to see more stuff like that from Marvel. I felt like that was Shang-Chi. That it was kind of a director's film. Sometimes the action was a little too much stuff happening at once, but that's okay. I like the characters, like the moments, I enjoyed the film. To the point where, like, do you think he's trying to promote his own movie? I think, as Jacob was saying, I get it. But I don't think that's what he wants. I don't think he's going to convince Marvel fans to drop everything and go watch Dune. But it does kind of narrow the field because next year, how many Marvel movies do we have coming out?
I think we're hitting the 3 or 4 mark.
Okay, 3 or 4. Year. And then DC still hasn't really caught up yet. But at some point, DC's going to get there. And at some point, some more Star Wars movies are going to come out. So now you're going to have anywhere between 10 blockbusters a year, mega blockbusters, mega franchise blockbusters.
Right.
And then a movie like Dune might kind of skedaddle. Like, think about, like, go back to Titanic.
I don't know.
It's a romance story that made $2 billion. That made $2 billion.
You're right. And I'm starting to believe that Gavin, my boy Gavin, shout out Gavin, who also came on Jivin with Jack when Jack was away. So shout out to Gavin for that. But I'm starting to go with this. Like, maybe, and I hate saying this because I want to make 100% clear that if you have the opportunity, if you have the chance, Dune is a film that you need to see on IMAX.
Yeah.
You need to see this on the biggest screen possible. I can tell you right now, this is the 2001 Space Odyssey of our generation, of our time.
Yeah.
This is going to be it's going to be big. However, I think probably one of the best things to happen to Dune, in the words of I believe William, our friend William from the Sci-Fi Center, is that it's going to HBO Max.
Yeah.
The reason being is because, yes, Denis does have a history of making critically phenomenal films. The guy does not have a bad movie in his repertoire. His movies do not always connect with audiences. It's understandable.
I was shocked that Blade Runner didn't do as well.
I almost cried because it did. I thought it was better than the original film, which I thought was impossible.
I enjoyed it more than the first.
Yes, and so I think, however, though, the accessibility of HBO Max, the idea that people don't have to pay to go see this in a theater, they can stay at home and watch it,
Yeah.
It's a big prospect for Dune, but it does do one of two things, right? If it does well on HBO Max, people like it, it's going to get that sequel. And by the time that sequel comes out, that deal with HBO Max or these movies coming out on HBO Max won't be around anymore. So people will have to go see it in theater. And they will. Because if they liked the first one, if they saw the first one, I think this is probably the best thing to happen to Dune.
Not only that, I think this is where I think Denise makes a point. Let's say you didn't like the story of Blade Runner, like some people were saying they thought it was okay. It is visually pleasing to the eyes, at least for me.
Yes.
In the same way that Candyman, I hadn't seen a horror movie where they actually paid attention to the shots,
to the
where they did something unique with the shots, and I'm like,
actually, I thought Jordan Peele's Us is the only other one that I would mention.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Us was also really good. But you got to see Candyman just to see how Denise. I don't know who the cinematographer on that film is. So in the original Candyman, they're looking down on Chicago, and in this one, it does the opposite. You're looking from the ground up as the buildings are touching the clouds. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God, this feels so trippy. And even though some people didn't like the story or what direction they went with Candyman, I was like, I appreciate good cinematography. One thing The Dark Knight has is great cinematography. I forgot, I think it was Wally Pfister with Nolan. Great shots. That's why he used the IMAX for so many sequences. He wanted you to get scale. You know, the idea that
very good cinematographer,
yes. Gotham is big. Hong Kong is big. Joker and Batman are larger than life. And I feel like that type of attention isn't paid to the MCU movies, you know. You could take the worst Zack Snyder movie you think, pause it anywhere. It feels like it's a picture, you know.
Yep.
It's not the basic, like, we'll have one camera here, you guys talk to each other, and we'll just cut back and forth like it's a sitcom, you know.
Right. And Get Out too, just to mention Get Out. Yeah, Get
Out was pretty well shot. Well, they're all Jordan Peele. I feel like he has a team of people that he works with.
He does. He's got an eye for cinematography, and wanting to tell a visual story as well as the actual story.
And we don't have that anymore. Like, James Wan sometimes overdoes it. I saw Malignant, and sometimes like they were trying to show the house with like fog. I liked it, but it was a little too good. But at least he's paying attention to the scene. He's trying to set up the atmosphere.
Absolutely. Another good one that I can think of always, his cinematography. This guy's, and I would love to do maybe we'll do a deep dive, Jack. We can talk about our favorite Fincher movies. Fincher's cinematography is, to this day, and it's distinct. It is distinct.
Very distinct. Yeah.
You know you're watching a David Fincher movie.
Yeah.
And I love that about him. I love that style. Same with Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
His cinematography, you know you're watching a Zack Snyder movie. That's why we all knew in 2017. That's not Zack.
Something to appreciate about that. I think, maybe, not to put words in Denise's mouth, he's like, those type of movies will go away if this is all we get. Or, as I've been saying, Marvel needs to step up its game. Learn a little bit from Marvel Netflix. Look how well shot Daredevil was for a TV show. Like
Punisher.
the way they use shadows and lighting. Really
Punisher was shot very well. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you know, he does mention, right, that he's excited for Chloe Zhao's Eternals. Personally, I've been saying this for a long time. I know Ty does not like Nomadland. I don't know if he doesn't like Chloe necessarily. I think he does, but I know he doesn't like Nomadland. But this is what the MCU needs. They need an artistic eye like this. They need somebody that's going to take this formula, this MCU formula, and really play around with it. I mean, Kevin Feige came out today and said, Eternals changes the MCU in massive ways.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a big freaking film. I think a lot of people are
I think one of the issues is they make these movies too quickly. I think Chris Nolan said that. Like, he said, the problem is they have 2 years to make a movie.
But I'll tell you what, Eternals took 2 years to make. They gave Chloe Zhao the time to make it. They gave her the time. She got the extension as well with the pandemic to go back in and edit. She talked about how she was very tedious with the pandemic and being in the editing room and perfecting it. And so I'm honestly, next to No Way Home, out of all the movies this year, Eternals was my most anticipated. I think it's going to be one of the best Marvel movies ever.
I need to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man do an epic swing through Manhattan. I know we kind of did it at the end of Far
I
From
just
Home.
need a distinct swing from Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
In Manhattan. Okay, so the first story was set in Queens. The second one is set in, Venice and London.
Right.
But I need him in New York, a la the video game, a la the Raimi films, where it's just epic. Just it'll zoom in and then zoom out to give you this
Remember
feel.
that? I'll never forget the ending of Spider-Man 1 when he's just swinging and he just swings and then lands on the sideways on that pole. It does the spin around. You're like, dude, come on.
I mean, we need more of that. I will say this: as much as I like Nolan, the Tim Burton Batman was really shot well, considering they did it all on a freaking soundstage in London. The way they used the lights, the way they kind of kept Batman in the dark. You only saw his eyes,
Right.
Like that kind of attention to detail. It takes a certain type of mind, an auteur, and it takes time. Directors are the type of people who will never celebrate their movies the way the fans do because they will always see flaws in it. And that kind of like search for perfection makes great movies, great cinema, And I would like the MCU to kind of do that. I think you can do it with the X-Men. Don't make it like, a CW movie. Give the X-Men the treatment that I think has to be as good as the Bryan Singer films, at least the first two and Days of Future Past. Take it seriously. That those movies had quips in it, but not every 3 seconds. But I can see where he's coming from. Eternals wasn't even on the agenda. She pitched it and they agreed to it. That's fine. That's how directors do things. They go to him like, hey.
And if only we had our producer Kaden. I know there's some issue. Maybe we can get him logged in. So, but look, I mean, because I don't know if that's necessarily true. I do think Eternals was on the agenda. I absolutely do think Eternals was on the agenda. I think it was how she pitched it and her pitch specifically that they decided to go, okay, we'll make it now. This is the director for it.
Exactly. And look, Marvel's done that where they announce phase 2 and then they add stuff. They're like, oh, wow, this did well. Let's do this. Phase 3. Like, if you ever watch when they announce movies, there's always more that they've added after the fact. And that's okay. It's like it's a running soap opera.
Yep.
You don't know what's going to come next. Blade was not on the agenda until Mahershala Ali called Kevin Feige. He's like, I hear you're doing Blade. I'd like to play Blade. And they're like, wow, he's got 2 Oscars. Yep. And then they announced Blade at the last second that the Blade's coming. So
now that one, Blade did not feel like it was going to be on the agenda. That one,
absolutely.
Eternals did because it felt like they were going towards the cosmic route.
Yeah,
they've been headed in that direction for a little bit. Even Guardians, it hinted a lot at that stuff. So Eternals very much felt like it was coming at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Raimi got his old team back for Doctor Strange 2 when he did the first Spider-Man movie. Yes, that's right, he did. And another quick tidbit, if you guys didn't know, the VFX artists that worked on the original Spider-Man trilogy and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 films were also hired for No Way Home.
Ooh.
Which is interesting. You would wonder why would they want to get the same people that worked on those Spidey VFX there. So I do think that that Spider-Man movie is going to be pretty epic.
I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be long. I think it might be like...
I think they said it's 2 hours and 38 minutes or something.
Yeah, like Infinity War was that long. I think it has to be. If you want to make it grand, that's another thing, I do appreciate that Marvel never let the 2-hour time limit bother them. They pushed the 2-hour time limit. I'm okay with a 2.5-hour movie for Spider-Man. If it's got a lot of story, give it room to breathe.
Yep.
Even if it was 3 hours, which I know it won't be, but like even if it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Geek Studio says, I wish Inhumans was still a movie. Aren't they doing an Inhumans movie?
I don't know if it's back on track. I mean, they tried the show.
They did a show. Wasn't that called Inhumans on ABC?
Yeah, that was. Do you think? I do think Marvel will eventually reboot the Inhumans. I just don't know how or when.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the time when they did it, it was through ABC. They were doing it kind of with the people from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that, and so now they do have Disney Plus. Now they do have the bigger budgets. Now they could absolutely do a well done Kevin Feige headed Inhuman show. I just don't know when or how or what their plan is with that, but I'm sure they are going to get back to it.
Exactly. Did they ever do Galactus? No, they haven't done Galactus.
No. Nope.
Isn't that kind of the theory that he might be the next big baddie?
Yeah, I have the feeling probably after Kane or above Kane, it's going to be.
I always said the next big baddie, maybe it might be Phase 5, so smaller scale but still dangerous, should be Magneto. Because once you have a guy who's leading powerful mutants in a revolution all across the world, that guy can be pretty scary, you know?
Right. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I mean, a world eater. That's pretty. That's also pretty big, pretty scary, right?
Yeah. All right, guys. We're gonna stick with this topic. We're gonna move on to Shang-Chi, and
You're gonna talk a little bit about.
I do have some final thoughts I want to give. So, Austin, I'm gonna remove you. I'm gonna take you out and give some final thoughts. Listen, you guys have been watching Jivin with Jack for a while now. You know that I love the MCU. I love the DCEU for all its faults. I have every Marvel movie on. I haven't had DVD in years. Blu-ray, Iron Man 1, all the way down to. I don't have Black Widow. I didn't buy Black Widow yet. But what I want from Marvel, and I kind of got a little bit with it with Shang-Chi, is more intelligently written films. I want them to play with the formula in the way the Netflix shows play with the formula. In the way that, whether you love him or hate him, Zack Snyder kind of deconstructed the characters. Maybe he didn't do it well, but there's a way where you could get directors to do it well. What do you think a comic book movie by Denis Villeneuve would look like? Think about that. Imagine if you have that type of mind doing an X-Men film. Like, well shot, well written, well, directed. I think it would be kind of cool. Here we go. Do you think Marvel, I think Austin answered that. The Spider-Man movie is going to be huge. It's going to be big. It's going to be massive. It's going to be, like, throbbing, okay? Yeah. Jacob, this is what I would say about the MCU moving forward. Black Widow was Shang-Chi was good. We don't know how Eternals is going to be. I think it'll be good. And then Spider-Man. As long as Marvel keeps giving us decent movies and then blows us away. Like, you go back to Phase 1. Iron Man 1 was great. Some people didn't like the first Thor, the first Captain America. Okay, but then the Avengers comes and blows it away, right? Then comes Phase 2. People didn't like Iron Man 3. Well, here comes Guardians of the Galaxy. Here comes the Winter Soldier. We got both of those in the same year, right? Then comes Avengers. Avengers Age of Ultron. Doesn't blow anyone away. Well, here comes Civil War. Blows everyone away. Civil War, I felt like, was an apology for Age of Ultron. Then after Civil War, we got Guardians 2. I thought it was okay. But then we got Spider-Man. Homecoming. It took me a second. The first one. Homecoming. We got Thor Ragnarok. No one was excited to see a third Thor movie. Blew everyone away, including me. Right? Here comes Black Panther. So for every movie that Marvel makes, as long as they keep pumping out a great movie every now and then, I think, look, I rewatched Phase 1, 2, and 3 like 4 or 5 times going into Infinity War and Endgame. And you think I enjoy all those movies? No. But because I knew the story was tied to it, I had no problem watching Thor: The Dark World. I had no problem watching Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 because I know the stories are tightly knit together. So to answer your question in a very long, loquacious, drawn-out way, yeah, it will last until 2028. They haven't even done the Fantastic Four. They haven't even done the X-Men, and those are huge properties. I mean, they haven't even done Miles Morales. So, hey, Tom Holland pushes 30. Bye, Tom. Here is Miles Morales. Spider-Man gets a second wave. Now you have Miles Morales in the big screen. There's so many directions they can go to. Hell, the MCU could reboot today and do a completely new story with the same characters. That is what's so great about these things. Dr. Doom. Yeah, see? My only worry about Galactus and Doom is, and you guys know how I feel about this. You guys know that I think Marvel is not great at writing its villains, with the exception of Thanos in Infinity War. People say, what about Loki? Loki was a villain in Thor 1 and Avengers 1, and he really wasn't a villain anymore. Anti-hero, trickster, maybe, but he wasn't evil. Like, you weren't afraid of Loki. Aside from Thanos, I don't think they've done a good villain. They've done sympathetic villains, like Killmonger's a sympathetic villain. Michael Keaton's not Birdman. What the hell is he? The Vulture. Vulture. Sympathetic villain, but scary villain. That's where I worry when they get to Magneto. That's where I worry when they get to Doctor Doom. That's where I worry when they get to Galactus. They need someone to treat these characters as scary, as in the audience is afraid of them. What was so great about Infinity War? You were freaking terrified of Thanos. Why? Because in the first scene, he kills Loki, and you're like, oh, okay. He's scary. So for the rest of that movie, you are scared of Thanos. You can sympathize with him. You can understand his character, but you're scared of him. And that is what I need out of Doctor Doom. That is what I need out of Galactus. That's what I need out of Magneto. Right, strong villains. Okay, now, Austin, now you're back.
Yeah.
I've allowed you to come back. But I think No Way Home will be like 2 hours and 40 minutes. Okay.
I think so.
I'm down with it. Look, when we watched the Snyder Cut for the first time, we got to see it early. Me and my dad sat through all 4 hours. I think we took one break to get some coffee, or I went down to pause. That's it. I was like, I don't think I'll be able to finish the whole thing. I think Ty watched it like 3 times that one weekend. Comic book fans and the general audiences have the stamina for it. They sat through Endgame. No one got up to use the bathroom during Endgame, at least the screening I went to. Everyone was like glued. So,
Yep. I'll pee my pants before I. Yep. Exactly.
Oh yeah, tomorrow we are celebrating 1 year of Pop Culture Corner.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes. I was right.
That's crazy. Isn't that crazy? September. Yeah. And as Tyler's message, support the channel, become a member, or send a super chat. Yes, please. Remember, Japanese hookers. I mean masseuse.
Oh God.
But I gotta pay for that. I already sent the bill, and Kevin canceled.
Already.
So I'm so nervous with the Eternals. Do you get a feeling? I mean, here's the thing. Chloe is without doubt a good art house director. Do you think that you could fumble a large-scale comic book movie? Because I'm thinking of Ang Lee and the Hulk movie.
It's possible anybody could fumble.
Yeah, because Ang Lee is a very smart filmmaker, but he didn't necessarily know how to do Hulk.
See, I disagree that Ang Lee's a very smart filmmaker. There, he got
smart, but he's on a different level. How do I put this? He doesn't necessarily know how to make a comic book
He's
movie.
more visual than story. Anything.
Yeah,
that's his thing.
Yeah, like a lot of people look back at that Richard Donner Superman movie and the Tim Burton Batman movie and said, "Oh, there's nothing that great about them, dude." They basically set the blueprint on how a decent comic book movie is made. Yeah. You know, a lot of people look at the early Marvel movies from like the 80s or 90s, like the Fantastic Four movie that never got released, the really bad Captain America movie. People didn't know how to do good comic book movies. So I think it'll be fine. I can see Marvel making mediocre movies, but never a bad, like awful stinker of a movie.
Yeah, I think that would really, you know, I don't see them doing exactly like a Josh Tranks.
Good point. The Mandarin is a good villain. Dude is badass. True.
Cool, yeah.
But again, he's sympathetic towards the end. I'm talking about scary. I also, like, we're gone. I was like, I need, like, Thanos sympathetic, but you were like, dude, this dude's gonna kill anyone. Because right off the bat, they show, yep, he's dangerous. Ambassadorial Wing.
What's up? What's up?
Scary villain, if not anything else, than his intellect and planning. True. But like, I was more sympathetic toward him. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, he was a great villain, but you're like, okay, I can see where he's coming from. And I really think if he hadn't died, Black Panther 2 could have been like, well, T'Challa has passed away. Who's next in line? Who's the next male heir? Uh-oh. And now he has to be the new Black Panther, but he kind of has like a face turn. Like now he has to be the good guy, but he's a bad guy.
Right.
Great story. Ambassador Will says, I think Eternals is going to be solid. Of course, I'm a huge fan of the team, so I'm already hyped.
I'm pretty high. I don't know much about Eternals, but I'm very hyped. I'm very hyped for it. I think it's going to be good. I mean, look, and it's Jack Kirby. You know, it's This is the guy that did, you know,
the New Gods also,
and all the stuff that that people love about DC, the dark side stuff and all that. So this is going to be good, man. I just don't see this being a bad film at all.
Speaking of directors, I want to get to Chris Nolan, but check this out. Shang-Chi is expected to dominate the box office for the 3rd week in a row. Now, when was the last time a movie did that? Like,
it's been a while.
I can't think.
It's been a while. I mean, it's certainly look, there's a lot of love for this movie. It's a good movie. It does break the Marvel mold a little bit. It's a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, come on. I love Clint Eastwood, but Shang-Chi's going to absolutely destroy that. And then, of course, right, it's an HBO thing, so it's going to have the dual release. I mean, Warner just kind of shot themselves in the foot with that thing, because now all these movies are going to come out, and unless it's The Matrix on HBO or something.
Is The Matrix going to be on HBO, or is that going to be in theaters?
It is. It's gonna be both. It's gonna be theaters. I think that might be the one though that people will go out to theaters to see. If you look at it, like the Matrix trailer got as many views as the Batman trailer did in a weekend.
That's crazy.
In a weekend.
Justin Hines made a good point. He's like, what is it really competing with? It's not that, but I think like Black Widow had a great opening weekend and then just dove off. It wasn't really competing with anything. I think everyone saw it on Disney Plus and was like, all right, we're done. But by forcing people to go to the theater, and the word of mouth of this, when I went, the theater was packed. Everyone was excited. Kids were excited. Families were excited to see a Marvel movie on the big screen. And you're right. It doesn't really have much competition right now. Was Candyman number one when it came out? Because that was a good movie.
I think it was, and you know what? Yes, for its film, it's a low budget film. It made its budget back. It did very well. I think. And my new favorite. I think Candyman is set to be the most profitable. Film out of the pandemic.
Yeah. So, by the way, my new favorite thing to do, you see in the trailer, and she does in the movie, is this.
Oh no!
I was like, what is that in the movie?
No!
Don't say his name. I love that. I'm like.
Right? Don't say. I mean, look, I think Shang-Chi's in a good position because it's a good movie. It's not on Disney Plus. People are talking about it. It does have implications into the overall story of the MCU and where it's going, unlike Black Widow did. I think and at the same time, man, people want representation. I know the Phantom Menace and all these guys are crying about all this and blah, blah, blah. No, people do want representation. There are a lot of Asian Americans and Chinese people that I know that love this movie, that love seeing this character be brought to life. And absolutely the market is there. For some reason, Hollywood years.
If you tell a good story with diverse characters, it'll sell.
Absolutely, yeah. And Hollywood, who has for years been afraid of doing it big budget wise, kind of like Shang-Chi, another great example a couple years ago was Crazy Rich Asians did phenomenally well. I mean, people want to see these things, man. They want to learn about different cultures. They want to have an open mind. I think that's a great thing. And so I think with Shang-Chi, this is great, and I only hope it keeps doing as good and better. And I very much look forward to the sequel too.
That's where guys like world class BSers, I'm not gonna say the word, and Doom Cop are like, oh, this is being done only for wokeness, and I was like, no,
shut up.
It kind of went like. I was like, no, this movie will fail. No one is talking about this movie. I'm like, no, you and your friends are talking about it. And remember,
but that's the funny thing. Him and his friends are talking about it and giving them but they're just, dude, they're so.
You gotta watch the comments on their videos. Like, dude, Shang-Chi just made $90 million this weekend.
Phantom Menace, neurotic, babyface. They're all literally brainwashed, twisted people, and all the people that follow.
I'll tell you what it is. Look. There's no doubt that Hollywood sometimes worries more about wokeness and diversity than storytelling.
Shout out RJ.
I don't deny that. But I think sometimes if you look for it everywhere, you will find it everywhere, even if that's not the intent. Shang-Chi is a movie about a Chinese character, a Chinese-American character. It's going to be mostly a Chinese cast. They're not doing that to pander to anyone. The Asian-American market in America is very small, and this movie's not getting released in China. Let them just tell the story. And if you like something, you can like it. Look, the sort of diversity woke attacks on Birds of Prey, to some degree, were correct. There is no good redeeming male character in Birds of Prey. It was very much a women kick ass movie, and men are stupid. But you know what? I was like, yeah, I still liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What's her name? Margot Robbie was great, and who else was in that movie? Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I like her.
If you're watching these movies, let me put it this way: if you're watching these movies, looking for looking for something to criticize about it, if it's too woke, and oh my gosh, they have a woman character, and oh my gosh, and all these different things, that it's like, are you actually kidding me? Like, it sounds like you're talking from a different century.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it really is.
Not only that, I think it kind of brings out insecurities in people.
Yes, Ambassador. I did want to say, because I know somebody in the chat said Clint is 91 or nobody cares about Cry Macho. Actually, I am gonna watch. I'm gonna watch Cry Macho. I was planning on it. I did care about it. I do like Clint Eastwood. I think he makes great movies. But obviously, Cry Macho with the dual release coming out this weekend up against Shang-Chi and how strong that's doing, it's probably not going to do very well. That was just my point. I do love Clint. I respect it. I'm going to see the movie. I very much want to see the movie.
I'm not going to be able to see it in theaters, unfortunately, this week, because I'll be going out Friday night and Saturday night.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
We got RJ.
Oh, RJ, look who showed up today. Where were you last night? Adam, RJ, were you two meeting up or something? Did I not? Oh no, RJ, no. You're all good. Yeah. No worries, dude. Yeah. No, we love Ty, but he's got a habit of last minute doing a let's do a panel and then inviting everybody. So
what happened was we had a whole other show planned last night, and then there were legit technical malfunctions, legit.
Yeah.
Computer crashing, and all of a sudden we had to delay the show, and we still went live. We went later, and we had to kind of change everything. But tomorrow, I think, is the day we're gonna maybe do what we were gonna do yesterday. So they called Hawkeye woke.
Yeah. But no, RJ, no worries at all. Please don't. You don't even gotta apologize. And bro, I hope you're feeling better. I hope your family is feeling better. I know it's been tough. Guys, go check out RJ's videos too. He's been killing it. If you think we don't really cover a lot of the fandom menace and neurotic stuff and all that. It's a lot. It's so much on a daily basis that comes out with these fools that it's hard to be on top. But RJ is on top of it, so make sure and check out his channel because he gives some great takes on all that. And as he said, dude, it was hilarious. They saw the Hawkeye trailer and freaked out. They were like, oh my gosh, there's a girl talking and there's an archer and she thinks she's the best. No, I was like.
It's like sometimes there are some motifs, I'll play devil's advocate, where they feel, and this is not good writing, that in order to make the female character stronger, they have to make the men look weak. And that used to work, but now it's sometimes, it's overdone. Okay. I think, no, you can write a strong female character and a strong male character. For example, see this movie, where you have a strong male character and a strong female character, referring to Awkwafina. They're both, to make Awkwafina look better, they don't have to diminish Shang-Chi or vice versa. That was well done. Or the sister. Yeah, she kicks his butt at first, but he's really not trying to fight her. And, whatever. But some people need to get over that. Star Trek gets this accusation a lot, but I'm like, dude, Star Trek was intentionally woke going back to the 60s.
Exactly. Star Trek was sci-fi political commentary from the start. That was the whole point. I mean, look at the freaking people. You had aliens with different hair colors and different genders and different all these things, and it was so progressive and
And Kirk banged all of them, but when he kissed a black woman, then they canceled the show. They're like, whoa.
Yeah, that's it. We can't have it.
We can't have that now. Can't have that. And,
again, man, these people sound like they're living in a different decade. Just ignorant. Just pure ignorance and fools.
And mind you, for those of you who might disagree with us, I'm not a big fan of going too woke. I think sometimes it can go over the top and obnoxious. I get that, but I don't think Shang-Chi was an example of that.
I mean, look,
Black Widow.
Making Clark Kent black, that's way too woke. What the hell are you doing there? There's so many good African American characters that are already established in Superman Power, Val Zod, Calvin Ellis, that you don't need to go back and do that type of thing, change his entire origin. It's just, so you're right. There are moments that they go way too far, and you're like, what? Why? Why?
I think that Black Clark Kent thing might be disposed of because I think now that they're talking to Michael B. Jordan, I think Michael B. Jordan wants to do. Did he say he wanted to do Calvin Ellis? I think was that the news?
Dude, I'm dead. Justin Hyde said purple, green, that's fine. Black, shut it down. Shut it down.
Yeah.
I love that.
But even with I'm watching when I grew up Star Trek Voyager. I forget the actress's name. She was in she's in Orange is the New Black, but they had a female captain. At the time, people were like, "No, a woman captain," you know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, dude, it's so. I just don't get it. I really don't get what gets these people all riled up for no good reason.
Well, I have my issues with that. I know exactly what if they did Black Clark Kent. I've done this mistake so many times. Like I know exactly what they're going to do when they make that movie. Like, and sometimes yes, movies can get a little too preachy. Falcon Winter Soldier, but that's okay. But I would like.
And I thought that was, and that's an issue, right? We disagree on that. We disagree on that. We thought it was. I actually, and I still think that was a very good speech from the new Cap. But I do see, right? Obviously, it was done at a time when they were trying to make a point and trying to connect it to what was going on socially and politically. So I understand that. Maybe for some people, it just felt like, I mean, for me, I think that might be another thing. Yeah.
I think every movie, TV show, and song is trying to do that now. Whereas before, when they did do it, it was kind of like, well, like going back to Star Trek in the 60s, no shows are really dealing with too many political themes. So that's how we do it. We put it in a show about the future and make you think about it without actually thinking about it,
everything is so, and even the, Justin says, I'm with Austin on the new Cap speech. Yeah, dude, I did think, because here's the biggest thing that I thought, okay, you can't really call that speech, I think, woke if you can switch it out with Steve Rogers. Because the idea of the idea of the mantle of Captain America is the morals. It's what he stands for, right? And that was very much portrayed in that speech that Anthony I thought and I really could envision like Steve Rogers or something.
Oh, but see, that was my problem that he said. I thought the speech was, I've said this before, it felt like a campaign speech. Like, Senator, you need to do better. Like, right, how? You have a solution? No. It's like, and then he's like, don't call this girl a thug. I mean, the girl who just tried to blow up like the United Nations. Yeah, don't call her a thug.
That's the one part, right? That
he's a bad guy.
But at the same time, man, it does open a good conversation of like, if I might get myself in trouble here.
Well, what happened?
I might get myself in trouble here because Gina Carano maybe had a little bit of a point with that statement.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
if we demonize everybody's ideas, everybody's words, and everybody's beliefs, then conversations go and war starts.
Yeah.
Or death and tragedy and all. So I do think, I'm not saying I absolutely disagree. She should have died very happy. I hated her character. But he made a point there. And as much as we all don't like it and we all hate to admit it, it is it's the right thing to do, to give people that chance to explain. But overall, no, there's not a lot of excuses. That was a poorly written character and just all the way around bad there. So, but yeah. I did my best.
But I was surprised, and I'm kind of glad. I thought maybe they didn't. I didn't notice. But in Shang-Chi, I don't think they really touched on like sort of Asian stereotypes. Like no one said to them like, I don't know, are you good at math or some kind of joke? They didn't really do that type of stuff,
Right.
At least I don't think so. Like, you're Asian. Are you a mathematician or a scientist or a doctor? Like, there's none of those jokes were made. Like, it was like, nope, we're gonna treat them like they're normal Americans, and I like that.
Exactly, and even you mentioned about this wokeness, even and RJ made a good point. He's like the word woke is losing. He's right. It's losing its meaning because it's getting so overused. Oh, we're coming to that. We're coming. But that was a good kind of like bring it up, right?
Yeah, bring it up. I want to touch on Nolan real quick. Is that cool?
Yes.
Ty's going to join us for Carano, so let's
we're getting. But I did want to just can we just hit one more thing? Because I did want to ask you this. You mentioned it. You brought this up, and I thought I hadn't thought about it. Music, too. Honestly, dude, I have not listened to like new releases probably for the last few months.
Really? There's some good stuff.
I'll tell you what. I listened to Certified Lover Boy. Hate Drake, so that didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
By the way, Donda, by Kanye West, phenomenal.
I haven't heard that.
One of the best albums in years. Why?
Really?
It doesn't all talk about ass and titties, and it's great.
Well, I'll be honest.
It's actually got a story to it. It's really good.
I liked "Beat Me Up, Scotty" by Nicki Minaj. It came out like in May. I'm like, I mean,
I'm not saying I do like those songs every now and again too. I actually, for a while, dude, I was listening to that Lizzo song that everybody was.
Rumors or the one before that?
Lizzo. Which one was it? She had a big, real popular song for, I think it was like last year.
Oh,
I can't even
remember. Where's my iTunes? I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, where's my Spotify at? Let me see.
I have it. Hold on, I'll tell you. Her other song was "Rumors" that I liked. That she did with Cardi B.
Truth Hurts.
Yeah, Truth Hurts.
Remember? Yeah. So, no, I totally get it. I get into those songs too. I
can enjoy
it's when people like, I'm sorry, like ASAP Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and again, Travis Scott.
I got effing problems. Come on, that's a good song.
But it's all the same shit, man. It's all your money, your girl problems.
But I would say something like that for 20, 30 years though. Like rap was like everyone talks about Nicki.
NWA was
Lil Kim.
The police. What you really think the police was about their jewels?
Yeah, but that's 30 years. I'm talking about the late 90s. I'm talking about Nicki Minaj. You remember that song? Tootsie Roll. How many licks does it take till you get to the center? I mean, it was also really filthy, Oh, yes, I have to buy that album. I bought the new Evanescence album. I did not buy the new Iron Maiden album. I have to buy the new Iron Maiden album. But yeah, you know what?
No, I thought you made a good point because I do see it in the music too, and it's I agree.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna touch on Chris Nolan coming up right now. Well, we talked about a little bit on Tuesday, but we now know a little bit more about Chris Nolan. Chris Nolan, as we know, we were just talking about Denis Villeneuve's movies coming out on HBO Max.
Right.
Stuck with his guns. He left Warner Brothers. I thought they were going to get him back. I thought David Zaslav was going to get him back. Chris Nolan is not the type of person that people think of when they hear the word difficult, like you've heard about difficult producers, difficult actors, difficult directors. Stanley Kubrick was a very difficult director. But yeah, he left, and he's going to be working on a World War II film that apparently will have to do with the development of the atomic bomb and Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll be
back to the Dunkirk era.
Dunkirk era, yeah.
Look, man, I'm excited. I mean, I think a lot of people said and have talked about this was coming, right? I am of the group of people that I think. Well, I'm all for his decision. I do, I back it and all that, and I'm sure he did it because the current regimen at Warner is absolute garbage.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a little weird that it was him, of all people, because Warner did do a very good job of meeting his demands for Tenet and what he wanted and things like that. And
that's a great album. Sorry.
Right, and he still left. So I don't know. Again, I agree with his decision to leave. I don't criticize it at all.
I have a theory.
Mm-hmm.
So why Universal? One, it's one of the oldest studios in the world.
Yes.
And interestingly enough, apparently Chris Nolan is a fan of Tokyo Drift, the third Fast and Furious film made by Universal. And which studio released their movie only in theaters this year? And currently, it's the highest-grossing movie of all time this year so far. Fast 9.
No.
Maybe Chris Nolan joined Universal because of Tokyo Drift and Fast 9.
No.
That's his Nicki Minaj. Like that's the trash that he likes to watch.
In the words of Michael Scott, when he found out that Toby is back. No! Please, God, do not. No. Oh my God. Now we're gonna turn into the Fast and Furious Inception. It was all a dream, and they're in space.
I'm telling you right now.
And Matthew McConaughey was in the upside down, fixing time and love, and oh my God, it's gonna be crazy.
All I'm saying is, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift 2, directed by Christopher Nolan.
Right.
Boom.
No. 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 Shut it down. No, man,
It's coming.
I
Nick
think
Cross
the
said I
biggest
watched my
point-
AirPods fully in the washer,
there you go.
and they work perfectly. Hey.
Oh my God.
Oh, Anthony,
Okay.
was the director's cut better? Because I thought this one was the weakest one out of the newer films.
I didn't see the director's. I haven't seen either of them. I thought if I was gonna watch that movie, though, I was gonna get the director's cut.
Get the director's cut.
Yeah,
I know. Nick, I'm joking. That was kind of
Why am I yelling, Nick? Let me tell you why. Because you really want to see freaking Chris Nolan direct a Fast and Furious movie? No, that physically makes me upset. So that's why. So tune your AirPods down because I can just get louder. What if Christopher Nolan directs the next Fast and Furious movie, or Hobbs and Shaw? Oh my God, Hobbs and Shaw 2, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Jason Statham, Keanu Reeves, directed by Christopher Nolan. There you go, guys.
Yeah,
right there.
Is Keanu right? Is he going to be the new one?
Who?
Is Keanu Reeves joining the franchise?
I don't know. That was like a rumor. That was like a big rumor.
He's popular now, so he's got a second win in his career.
I mean, I don't know that. I mean, I'm sure Chris Nolan could do anything, and it'd be good. But I don't know if I want a Fast and Furious movie that I have to think about. Do you? I don't know.
Sure, why not? It might go down as one of the greatest movies of all time. Like, wow. Vin Diesel in his acting prime,
Nolan will save cinema with the Fast and Furious. No.
Yeah. No. Could you imagine? He's like, I must save cinema. I'll do a Fast and Furious movie to show you how it's all done,
Michael Barnes says Furious Inception. No. Yo. What's up, Caden in the chat? Our boy Caden. Good for Nolan and Zach for leaving WB. They doing good. Yeah, look, I mean, WB is not in a very good position right now. They're only getting worse. Directors are coming out left and right criticizing them. I am of the sentiment too that maybe once Zaslav takes over, and it was kind of announced that the merger will be done by mid next year, maybe these guys will come back. There was a pretty interesting Deadline article in which they said the main focus of what they want to do with the Discovery Warner merger is giving what the customer wants. I thought that was interesting phrasing there. But look, Warner was real stupid in how they managed this pandemic and how they managed the films and the deals and releasing everything day and date. It was just all done very sloppy. It was all done without any respect of the filmmakers or the people behind it, the people involved. Or the vision or the artist. So I do think that everything that happens to them in the next up until the merger is well deserved. I think it's probably it's well deserved, man. This is what happens when you treat your filmmakers like this. And do you guys think Nolan is going to stay at Universal permanently, or will he just do the one movie with them and potentially go back to WB? Okay. I think if there is a regiment change at Warner, I think he'll go back to Warner because, he does have a lot of connections at Warner. He was there he's never made a movie outside of Warner Brothers. Zack Snyder until Netflix never made a movie outside Warner Brothers.
Except the first Dawn of the Dead, I think. That was Universal.
Dawn of the Dead, Universal. Okay.
That's it. But then he was like a nobody,
Right. So I do think the potential is there as long as the new regimen is open to it and that those guys are aware and start preparing to reach out to these guys and be like, yeah, we'll give you what you
and here's the thing, if Universal lets him do whatever he wants to do, he may just be like, why don't I just stay here? Like, you know what I mean? If Universal is like, let's not make any of the mistakes that Warner Brothers is making, he may not go back. Even if the leadership changes, he might be like, you know what, I'm happy here. Just like Zach seems to be happy with Netflix. He's happy. He's got a whole Universal.
But I will say he only set the movie up for one movie. He only set the deal up for one movie. He is keeping his. He's keeping it.
Nolan.
Open. Yeah,
Nolan. Yeah. Okay.
It's only set for the one film. This is not a.
Yeah. And Nolan's not the type of guy who's going to make a deal with Netflix. He's not. He wants his movies in theaters, on the big screen.
Yep. And then Caden says Billy Robert. Well, because Patty Jenkins, once she's done with Rogue Squadron and Cleopatra, which Caden, maybe you could let us know in the chat, since I know you're you can't. I don't know. Yeah, I'll see if I can send you an invite or something.
Yeah.
But is Cleopatra WB? Because I think that's WB. I could be wrong.
I think at least because it was announced right alongside Wonder Woman 3.
Right,
so I feel like that might be Warner Brothers. I'm not 100% sure. But let me ask you this. Talking about directors, this is kind of off topic, but it's been a month or so since Suicide Squad came out. Are you surprised how that didn't do well in box office? I know it was also on HBO Max, but I heard very little buzz of people talking about it outside of our circles. Like when I talk to people, like, did you see the new Suicide Squad movie? There was a new one? Oh, yeah. No, I don't care. Like, were you kind of surprised? And do you think had it been only theaters and had it had better marketing, it might have been done well? I mean, it might be considered a dud, which is a shame.
Yep.
Billy Roberts says the super chat. Well, let me.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's
you can't do it on your phone. I think people have tried on their phone and it couldn't work.
Phones and YouTube, man, are weird. I know, Billy. I'm sorry. It's the same thing as like you can't see our memberships. Like you can't join the membership from the YouTube app on the you have to go. So I'm sorry. It's probably something, but thank you for the consideration. Thank you so much. I mean, Justin says it doesn't work on Apple. That's what it is. Okay. That's right. I remember reading that.
So okay. I mean, I think it's cool for Nolan. He's still, I think, is he still in his 40s? I think he's got a long career ahead of him. Even if he's 50, the dude is he's got a long career ahead of him. And well, it's about that time. We're going to talk about. Ooh, hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
We're censored all live. There we go.
Yeah, I just said it all live. All right, guys. We need to take a break, and we'll be right back. Who wants to talk about video games? Because back in the day, there was a game called Twisted Metal, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They made 3 of them, I believe. Or maybe there were 4 of them, but Twisted Metal 2 on the PlayStation 2 was amazing. Well, Sony and PlayStation are working on a Twisted Metal TV series starring none other than Captain America himself, Anthony Mackie.
Ooh.
I'll be honest with you. This could be like we haven't had like, a good car action movie outside the Fast and Furious franchise. This would be cars blowing up. I mean, who here has ever played Twisted Metal? I'm curious. In the comments, have any of you guys ever played Twisted Metal?
I have not.
Okay, so basically, you got a different type of car with different type of perks, and you just blow each other up in an arena. Sometimes it would be like post-apocalyptic Paris. Sometimes it'd be a different city. Sometimes it would be like, Machu Picchu or something. And it was just cars blowing each other up. And in fact, here's an example. This is what it would look like. You picked a character. I used to always pick the one with the clown on it. And you just blew each other up. It was just a simple game. But it was so fun. It had an arcade feel to it. But Sony, I think, owns it or has the exclusivity. And they're going to be working with PlayStation to do a show with Anthony Mackie. And I think it could be very, 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 very fun to watch. Just cars blowing each other up in a tournament style. Mortal Kombat. Since Mortal Kombat never gave us the Mortal Kombat tournament.
Mortal Kombat sucked. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I heard about this. I haven't played the games, but I'm definitely excited. I think this seems pretty interesting. And see, I hated the blimp level. I could never make the jump.
In the middle. There was this one. Are you talking about the Paris one where you had to make the jump, Justin? But I haven't played these since I was a kid. But I remember loving them so much. And again, no story. It's just random cars blowing each other up in like sort of like a Hunger Games fashion, but with cars. I can't promise that this movie will be well made. All I can promise is you're going to see cars blow up. You're going to see crazy stunts. You're going to see crazy violence. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I am happy with that. I am happy with a movie just giving me action, and it's got Anthony Mackie's charisma and his quips alongside of it. That just makes it better. So let me see. But here we go. I think that's the one. Yeah, the Paris one is really popular. We're gonna move on soon. But what do you think about that? A movie, so the game, there's no story. It's just cars and tournaments. They're probably gonna have to come up with a story to kind of, flesh it out a little bit. But I think that'd be kind of cool.
I agree. I agree. Let's see. And Kanan just let me know Cleopatra is Paramount. So that's. Oh,
it's Paramount. Okay.
It's Paramount. Yes.
Please don't put it on Paramount Plus. Please put it in theaters. Speaking of violence, did you hear about this? So, our boy from Ireland, Conor McGregor, tried to punch Machine Gun Kelly at the Video Music Awards and had to be held back.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this at all?
I did hear about this. I thought it was funny. The caned, crippled Conor McGregor is still trying to fight, man. Still trying to fight. Either. I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
So this is what Dana White, who runs UFC, said. He said, crazy bleep happens in the fight business. So he said that I spoke to both of them. It's all good now. It was a misunderstanding or whatever it was. I think TMZ grabbed Conor on Tuesday and said there was no problem. I don't know what happened, but some people have made the accusation maybe he was drunk. Maybe he was, on something. Just look at his face. He doesn't look sober.
Something was up there. He was obviously probably a little drunk. I mean, come on, let's be honest. He's got the luck of the Irish in him. He probably had a little bit of the bottle and got a little excited. I mean, look, I know Conor is he's a bit out there. He's a wild card and all that. And
here's what I kind of needs to retire. Made $300 million Floyd. You know where Conor McGregor would make a lot more money and not worry about getting hurt? He's got personality. He's got fame. He's got charisma. He's got physique. He's a trash talker.
Commentating.
And not commentary.
Oh, okay.
Where should he go? Let me see if you guys know what I'm thinking.
TMZ.
No.
Damn it. Mainstream media? I don't know, Jack.
He needs to go, because he's still young, and make a lot of money either with WWE or AEW.
Oh, God.
He would kill it.
No.
He would draw audiences who don't watch wrestling. He'd be great on the microphone. He may not be a great wrestler, but wrestling's all about personalities. He could cut a couple of promos, do like 5 or 6 Raws a year, do WrestleMania. Look what happened to Ronda Rousey, how popular that was. Look how popular it was with Brock Lesnar. Look how popular they had getting Floyd Mayweather to fight the Big Show. He is so much personality. Everyone already knows he has a badass rep, that he's a fighter. Create a character. Bring him to WWE. I think he would.
Yeah, maybe WWE would be pretty popular for him. I do kind of agree with Anthony, right? Maybe it's just time. He's got. His biggest downfall is he's got a big freaking mouth, right? And but because as a fighter, I liked him. I would root for him. I was a Conor McGregor fan. However, not a fan of it. He talks too much. He puts his foot in his mouth too much. He does some really stupid shit. And so I kind of agree.
But do you think that's sort of like, to some degree, it's staged, like with the Paul brothers, Logan Paul.
No.
I'm not saying he's as bad as them, but like part of it is publicity. Let's make a little noise, because he's drawn attention to the UFC. Like, I don't really watch UFC fights too much, but like I know who he is because of his antics, because of the bad boy persona, because of the trash talking, the cursing, the acts, the way he walks when he knocks someone out. I think he would actually be pretty good for WWE. Could you just
I think
imagine?
you're right. He would.
Like-
You're probably right. He would be. He's like you said. He's definitely got that personality and all that
Yeah.
for it. He'd probably be the one too that they would probably have to fire because he took things too far and actually smashed somebody's head in on the stage instead of going with the choreography. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's somebody.
The only thing is, here's the thing:
He's
the
wild.
disadvantage he has is that in terms of size, he would actually be pretty small for a professional wrestler.
Yes. Yes.
He would be very small.
It would
So,
drop
it'd be
kick
very
him
hard for him to
Jack Black drop kicked the dog off Anchorman off the bridge.
Yeah. But like they can sell that, like him coming in with his gold and his watches, coming in like he's Ric Flair. But like, now, do I think he should do every Raw and SmackDown? No, but he'd be like sort of like what they do with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar makes like 10, 12 appearances a year and does like WrestleMania and SummerSlam part-time. I think he'd make a lot of money. I think WWE would make a lot of money selling Conor McGregor t-shirts, give him a catchy promo. I think that's where he needs to go. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I agree. I think he'd do very well there. Keep it out of movies though. I definitely don't want to see him in movies.
Well, WWE could be a good way to transition because what do you do in WWE? You have to learn scripts. You have to learn choreography. You have to sell. There's a reason that a lot of people go from WWE into movies. Not always successful, but Hulk Hogan did it. Rowdy Piper did it. The Rock did it. Batista did it. WWE is essentially a live theater stage with a lot of stuff.
Doesn't
So
mean
if you can kill it there.
Doesn't mean it produces good live actors.
Oh, true. But again, with Conor McGregor, it would be like The Rock. You don't go to see a Rock movie to see him act like Brando. You want to see The Rock pick up big things and throw them and hold a helicopter to a truck with his arms.
Exactly.
So, all right. So, I was hoping. I think Ty's been delayed, but we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to our three ladies: Gina, Nikki, and Rose. Here we go, folks. If you like controversy, like I like controversy, if you like watching drama happen in real time, then stick around because our next segment is just for you. So, our next part is purely based on rumors. They're going to have him do deep, goofy crap. Yeah, exactly, I hope not. He could be exactly what they need. There are rumors, and these rumors happened a couple of months ago, and they're happening again. This was reported by Mike Zero. He sort of prides himself on being a leaker or a scooper or a super duper scooper or whatever you guys want to call him.
Right.
But I would like to talk about it, and that is that Gina Carano may be returning, or there have been talks with her and Jon Favreau about returning for Mandalorian seasons 3 and 4 in some fashion. I personally am all for it. While I didn't think her tweet was too sensitive, I understood where she was coming from. I thought the way people reacted to it, and by the way, most people, when you asked them what did she tweet, did not know what she tweeted. They were just heard, she tweeted something. It had to do with Nazis, and then that was it. Like, she got lost in the role. But apparently, Jon Favreau had her in mind when he created the character. Look, I'm not saying she's a great actress, but she is good for that role. Tough, badass. She was fine in that role. Like, you don't need her to, do a Luke, I'm your father scene. If she's back, do you think it would really create that much of a controversy, or it'd be like, she's back? I don't think people are really that worried. I think
it'd be like the James Gunn thing. People were upset in the moment. She's come back. Everybody's going to be okay. Nobody's going to, it's people are always, they are waiting for somebody to say something so they can jump at you, cancel you, end your career, and then be done with it. And look, and I do know, that,
what we're gonna do? We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna bring in our producer Caden for this.
yeah.
I'm gonna bring him in because I think he'll join us.
There we go.
Yo.
Hey.
You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say this also, is that it's not just how people react, like general audiences and fans of the show. It's how Pedro would react. It's how the cast and crew would react. She broke Pedro's like trust in that whole thing because
where did you hear that?
no, because Pedro gave her many times to change up her act, and she didn't. That was like the whole main
where
thing.
did you hear that? Because
That
everything
was
I've heard is the opposite. Is that Pedro?
no, it's in the
is
article when
totally
she was
fine
fired.
with her.
In the article, it was like that was like when she was fired.
Okay, well,
It said that-
interesting. Pedro has come out in an interview, in a couple
Yeah.
interviews, and said that he's totally fine with her. There's no issue there, and it was a decision on Disney.
Yeah,
and
that's what I heard. I heard it was-
even Gina has said, and I'm sure Disney doesn't want everybody to know this, that her and Pedro are still friends, that her and the cast of The Mandalorian still talk, that she's been very open about that.
I think
this was a decision. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say it. Look, and you can say whatever you want. I'm diverse. I'm Latino. I've got she pissed off the wrong group of people. Guess what, people? Disney is owned by a bunch of Jewish executives, older Jewish executives.
Yeah.
What did she bring up? The Holocaust.
Well,
that's not going to make them. That's not going to make them happy. They're not going to sit there and go, "Oh yeah, let's give this chick a pay raise." Well, at the end of the day, that is what happened. She pissed off a powerful group of people, but she did not say the wrong thing. That's the difference. What she said was pretty on point.
Yeah. Well, what she said wasn't even like an attack against Jewish people. What she was saying was like how it started with Jewish people.
This is how the Holocaust happened.
It happened with the Native Americans, happened with the Chinese during the 1800s, is that you otherize them. Like, first thing to do with Jewish people, they would put the band on their arm, like, oh, these are the Jews. Then you move them into the ghettos. Then you slowly...
Black people were in slavery in America here for 400 years under the belief that white people didn't even think they were like human.
Intelligent, yeah.
They thought their brains were literally, some really messed up, just disgusting ideas.
Yeah.
But that is the fundamental idea of what started these horrible, what started slavery, the Holocaust, all these things was that group of people, whether it's what they look like or what they think or how their culture acts.
They're from another country, yeah.
Yeah. It's a threat. They take it as a threat to themselves. And so at the end of the day, that's what happened.
Yeah.
She pissed off her bosses, which obviously are of Jewish descent. They own Disney. They're the board there.
See, I think it had more to do with social media kind of blowing it out of proportion. Like people on Twitter.
That too.
Like,
you have
my God,
people on social media jumping and waiting to criticize and cancel. So yeah.
Yeah.
There was also like the whole COVID misinformation stuff that she was spreading, like that whole thing also kind of like probably
that's not good enough. Latia Wright was doing the same thing. She's got a massive role in Black Panther 2.
Yeah. But she only did it one day while Gina Carano was retweeting.
She did it a couple of days, and she did it on interviews. I follow her very closely.
What Gina Carano said was, what I remember, maybe Kate, you can tell me more, but basically it went back to voter ID laws, which is a whole thing we're not going to get into. And she said, hey, why don't you just mail me the vaccine and trust that I'll take it? Like, because of the mail-in ballot. Again, I'm not getting mail-in ballots have been around forever.
Right.
But like, okay, then why don't you mail me the vaccine, trust that I'll take it, making the greater point that you wouldn't trust me to take the vaccine on my own. Why would you trust that what is being mailed to you is correct? And of course, this goes back to the whole voter fraud thing and voter ID, but I don't think she was like saying, I'm not taking the vaccine. Well, we're going to get to Nicki Minaj.
Right.
We're going to get to Nicki Minaj. Folks, you're going to want to stay tuned for that because you're going to see images like where'd it go? Oh, Kelp Caden didn't take him down. We're going to have images like this playing, so you're going to want to stick around. She was on a talk show. I think it was Ben Shapiro, and she gave her point of view.
Yes.
And the first thing I thought was like she's actually not as conservative as I thought she was. Maybe she's like Hollywood conservative, but she's like Robert Downey.
She didn't even claim herself as conservative. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And all of that, she said, I'm not even conservative. She says, I've been trying to learn and research and figure out why is this country in the spot that we're in. And that was what she came up with. And that's pretty much right. That's absolutely
also,
right.
I think what was so you know, like, okay, Jack and Austin. Austin and I are executives, and Jack is GM. Jack tweeted out something, and or posted or texted someone something, and or whatever it may be, and they send a social media manager to Jack's house to say, "Hey, let's
they go straight to the house.
better way,
not a call, not in anything. We're sitting this down and talking it out."
Right. To see, to figure out a better way to say what you just said, and then
yes,
and then that whole thing where she was telling the person to take off her glasses, that whole thing, and like when the person needed the glasses to see and read, it was just take off your glasses so I can see eye to eye and talk to you and look into your soul. It's the person needs the glasses to read, and it's just and then you have multiple warnings, oh, we sent you the social media manager and you didn't even work with the person.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want us to help or not? And then she's like, yeah. And then she doesn't get the help because every time they send someone, she scares them off.
But here's the thing, and I understand, as a company, you want to control to some degree what you say or do. But I do think, on the other hand, if the social media manager wasn't there to change what you said, he's got to say, you got to change what you tweet. We want you to tweet a certain political viewpoint. And if she says, no, I don't want to do that, I also understand that point of view. Now that you represent Pop Culture Corner, you can only say these things. You can't say this.
Right.
Thing.
I'm not saying. I'm saying I'm sure the social media manager was oh, let's not totally change your view on it, but let's change some words because these words may seem offensive, and so let's unsensify them.
Right.
But
but that's
she was
the thing. Even then, I'm sorry. I think that's too far. What was offensive? I mean, honestly,
her whole transphobia thing also.
Okay, I'm not talking. I'm talking about what got her fired.
There's multiple things that got her fired.
The Nazi
tweet, not just that. It wasn't just that got her fired. It was all of the things that she said. It was all of the
I think there was another incident where
just warnings after warning after warning. They were done giving her warnings. The last warning was taking the Rangers of New Republic show away from her, and then she ruined that.
But warning for what? Stop talking.
Not talk. Stop
that
talking.
Doesn't...
Warnings after change your wording and change the way you are saying things, but to
be more politically correct, so to speak. Yeah.
To be less offensive, and to be better words. Choose better words to say.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I guess we
come
can
off you. And
I
also,
guess
she did say that this is her first year in politics. This is her first time.
Yeah, she's learning. She's wanting to become more active, and
Yeah, and
it was just
it was just the way that it's your first, and she was talking about on major topics. Where if you're just now coming to politics, it seems a bit off that you're talking about these things.
She wasn't saying anything that bad.
But here's my thing,
that's the thing. I never saw, and maybe I missed a lot of stuff, right?
But even then,
I never saw anything that bad.
How many people in Hollywood are actually qualified to talk about any of these topics? And they do.
Right.
You
really think? I mean, let's be honest. I like George Clooney, but George Clooney has no room to talk on politics. Absolutely none. Danny Ocean doesn't get to tell me who to vote for president.
Exactly. And not only that, but I am not I believe an individual should be politically correct in their day-to-day life. What I mean by that is that you should be respectful. But if that's not who she is, I think that's part of her character, part of who she is as a person, that she's a little more to the maybe center right than most of America. And then you have Disney coming in and saying, well, you can't say this, you can't say that. Kind of worries me. Yes, a private corporation has that power.
That part,
we're talking about Twitter because of Nicki Minaj. But if she said something like, F the Jews, or said, this or that,
that's a whole whole different thing. You're looking at exactly, yeah.
And
look,
that,
Anthony,
black people are like this or whatever. Then you're like, okay, well, obviously. But what it feels like to me is that, okay, Gina, you have a certain political point of view that is not mainstream right now in an election year. And we need you to change that because we don't want you to be associated with that.
I'll put it this way.
And even if Gina had done everything they had said, the people who are crying on the internet would still be mad. They're still mad about James. I heard a lady complain about James Gunn's joke party that he did.
God.
Yes, exactly. People are finding and they want to look for anything and everything to cancel, to jump on you and to do all these stupid things. Look, Paul Schrader just had a movie come out called The Card Counter. He was asked by whoever distributed the film, I forgot, and he was public about it, that they asked him to stop talking on Facebook because of his political views. And so he came out and he said, I did that for the sake of the film. So yeah, I agree that Gina should take into consideration the part that it's not all about her. Star Wars doesn't revolve around her and her politics. She's got to now consider that what she does affects a greater thing. And so I do agree with that. At the same time, though, I don't. It's a weird line, man. And yes, by the way, we want to start this, by the way, with this is all a rumor. This is just something we read on. This is something I read on. The conversation
that's following is what I wanted to have that we're having right now.
Exactly. Because
it ties.
I don't think she's coming back. I don't think she's coming back.
No, I don't think she's going to come back either.
No.
But what I'm saying is, if she did, let's say in season 4 of Mandalorian or Boba Fett, would you guys be mad? Like in one episode,
if she shows up in one episode and that's her way to send her off, then fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure that everyone would be fine if she shows up one episode as her.
I'm kind of waiting.
If she does it, I think some people are treating this like the Kevin Spacey situation.
Yeah, which was a whole other thing.
If Kevin Spacey would have showed up for one episode of House of Cards Goodbye, people would have been like, "Oh, what the is going on?"
Yeah.
This is she just said something and people didn't like it. People were trying to crucify her for it.
The other thing is,
if
they would listen to some of the comedy, because Bill Burr had a huge role in the second season. He was in one episode in the first season, but he had a pretty significant role. Even as a comedian, the stuff he has said as a joke on Conan, anyone could make a huge issue out of it. He literally started off his last special in London. It's like sometimes I feel like going to one of those female rides and be like, "Hey, go back in the kitchen," just drive off. Now, clearly, comedy.
When he spoke out when Gina Carano was fired, he's he was like, I would have never because he was not talking about the whole conservatives or that thing. He was talking about the misinformation and the whole transphobia stuff. He's like, I'll never say those things.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to whoever needs to hear this, but what I've said in the past is still my beliefs now, but I'm not gonna do what she did. And I'm like, no one would outright want to ruin their career.
Yeah.
And that she may not know that she was doing.
Go after him because he was on one of his podcasts with his friends. Like, dude, I gotta watch what I say now because he's one of those few comedians who's said a lot of stuff. He did this whole bit on Conan where he's like, I think women are overrated. Now it's a bit, but someone could be like, well, he might actually mean it and create a whole.
Oh man, I remember when Bill Burr hosted SNL. I think it was last year.
Oh yeah,
and people were like, cancel Bill Burr. He's talked about black people and all that. People were like, he's married to a black woman, right?
Yeah.
He says things for a reason, right? He's probably got more knowledge than most white people on Black history.
He used to do this whole thing about dating black girls in New York and how he was scared to go into Harlem. He's like, dude, you just going past 110th Street and you see less and less white people, and you're like, dude, what the hell's a bodega? Even now, people would be like, well, I don't think. Let's talk about.
I just thought that was so funny, man. I thought that was so funny after because he had a very, very edgy. It was from my opinion, it was the best SNL monologue in years.
Yeah. It was
great. He was edgy. He was on point, and it was great. Even the audience, certain audience members weren't laughing and stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, that's my type of comedy."
Yeah, Norm Macdonald, some of his best stuff. There's one top where he does a bit on Dennis Miller about well, people will say, "Well, my son is gay," and they're proud of that. I'm like, "Well, why? You didn't do anything." Like, you can't be proud that your son is gay if he's gay. You had nothing to do with that. And he does a much better thing, like basically saying like you're taking credit for something you had nothing to do with. And I have noticed, like, especially, I haven't really watched too many sitcoms, but sitcoms are afraid to push buttons. One of my favorite episodes of Modern Family is a pretty liberal show, but one of my favorite episodes of Modern Family is where Cam and Mitchell, who are the gay couple with an Asian baby, they're trying to get her.
And then the restaurant, in that restaurant.
No, they're trying to get her into like a very fancy, high-end school. Like it's supposed to be a school.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, dude, we got this. We're gay, and we have an Asian baby, person of color. High five. And the family they're up against is an interracial lesbian couple, and the woman is black and disabled. And they're like, crap, gotta beat them. So Cam, who's the heavier one, starts to pretend he's Native American. He's like, I was told many moons ago that I would have a child with skin the color of maize. And like you see Mitchell just standing there like doing this the whole time.
Oh my god!
Like he was trying to out. Whoa, that was great. And I'm like, even now I'm like,
the scene that you're talking about is like so. It's Sofia Vergara and the child. They're in the restaurant and they're eating fun and they're like, and she's like, it's like Sophia's character's like, it's really good to connect with your culture. And then when they're ordering food, and she's like, I don't want pho. And then it's like, better eat this. And then Mitchell and them are like, you better eat this food. And it's like, and then Mitchell says, I think it's really good to we all go back to our country. He's like, no. He's like, we have black friends. It's like the white people are like, we have white friends too. It's like he's like, we have these friends. It's like, it's just like, it's hilarious. It's like, it's just funny.
But like even that Modern Family bit might be considered like when you start doing the Native American voice, like I was told I would have daughter. Like he's trying to outwork the other cat. I'm like, to me that's funny. And like, yeah, some people might find offended. I think when you apologize, I think that's what Gina was going for. It's like, I'm not going to apologize or kowtow to PR people. But to go to Austin's point, like, was what she said really that far? Maybe in bad taste, sure. But if you look at Hollywood right now, how many stories are coming about people who've done some horrible stuff?
I do think
kind of celebrated.
I do think there's somebody in the background that would.
Yeah, it is. So we are talking about it, and I wanted to bring in Ty for this. There he is.
There we go.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
What's up?
So,
I was
like,
only sitting here
like we're
for
about to be
15
ending.
minutes
I wanted to get the right moment in, you know.
listening to Caden say it's like over and over again.
It's like
It's like
Oh, he's
it's
from
like
California. That's
no.
cool. Or like it's like whatever.
Right.
it's like
That's like when I
I
say
say-
It's
like
yeah.
it's like yeah.
I say you know. You
Yeah.
go by. I'm like you know. And I'm
Right.
like, I gotta stop saying you know. Oh my God, T.W. McKay. We're already moved past it, but thank you. He's talking about how we shouldn't truck my zero, and I'm like, yeah. But really, what I wanted was this conversation that we're having because tied to Miss Gina Carano. Boom!
Oh gosh! Wow.
Nicki Minaj unofficially became a free speech advocate today. So, for those of you who don't know, Nicki Minaj is a rapper. And yes, a talented
She
one.
is.
I like her bad music. I like Anaconda. I like... What's that one where she does like... Monster. Her third line in Monster. Great. But anyway, basically what happened. She tweeted out this. Why weren't you at the Met? They want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe. Wear the mask with 2 strings that grips your head and face, not that loose one. And then she said, hold on, let me get to this one. Someone said to her, I had to get the vaccine because they wouldn't let me look for a job or get a job or earn money, whatever. She says, I know, babe. A lot of countries won't let people work without the vaccine. I'd definitely recommend they get the vaccine. They have to feed their families. I'm sure I'll be vaccinated as well. I have to go on tour, etc. So here's what apparently happened with Nicki. Someone in her family had a bad reaction to the vaccine. Now, those are very rare.
it was
Very, very
the
rare.
way it was like her friends her cousin's friends
Yeah.
had a. It was a reaction to the vaccine. The friend, like someone was doing like more research into like that whole thing, and a Trinidad doctor came out and said the friend already had ED and then got the vaccine, and
apparently the balls got swollen up or something, so he had erectile dysfunction, and his balls got swollen up as a reaction to the vaccine. But here's my point. What she said was she wasn't saying don't take the vaccine because we're all vaccinated out.
Right.
We're all pro-vaccine. Where's Benson? We're all pro-vaccine. But she was just saying that I'm not going to get vaccine just for the Met Gala, whatever. Okay, fine. So Joy Reid, who is a very popular commentator on MSNBC, kind of went after her hard and kind of lumped her in with the anti-vax crowd. Like, oh, she's one of those. When clearly that's not what she was saying. For you to encourage for you to use your platform to encourage our community, meaning African Americans, not to protect themselves and save lives. As a fan, I'm so sad that you did that. Read out. That's clearly what Nikki was not saying, but you gotta be careful with Nikki. If you ever hear her lyrics, she knows how to come out.
Did you see James Gunn's comment?
What did James say?
So he commented under the whole her cousin's friend thing, and he said, "My cousin's friend also ate an egg salad sandwich for breakfast and got in a car accident. I guess I'm not going to eat egg salad sandwiches anymore."
Yeah, but
it's like
I get that, but here's the thing: we're all vaccinated.
I think you're missing the point, Caden.
Yeah, but I think here's my thing.
I think you're really missing the point.
But I understand what James Gunn is saying, but I think again you're lumping her as she's not anti-vax, which
no.
But how do I put this? I think everyone should get vaccinated.
I think what everyone else was having the problem with is that she was saying that I'm doing my own research.
Yeah.
When the research has already been done.
Yeah, because that's so great. Everybody thinks they're a doctor now, Nikki.
Yeah.
No. That's awesome.
Because no one can do their own research.
She's saying she's looking into it for herself.
She's doing her own
research. There's different vaccines you can
He doesn't want to mess with this. You don't want her to start growing bumps and stuff. I mean, she's just whatever. But here's my point. Here's my larger point. Here's what happened. Nikki retaliated.
Right.
But the anti-vax, she went crazy. I'm not going to say all of this, but this is what happens when you're so thirsty to another black woman at the request of a white man, because she, when Joy Reid did her thing, she had a white guy on the right and the left, MSNBC, CNN, they always do those boxes. That you didn't bother to read all my tweets. That's why I showed this tweet where she did say, I'm going to get vaccinated, just doing some research. Tweet to spread a false narrative about the black woman. That's what I kind of want to talk about, because I think that's what happened here. Yes, she never said I'm anti-vax or you shouldn't get it, but that's how that got translated as like, oh, you're anti-vax, which is not what she was saying. And then she kind of went after her. Then she called her an Uncle Tomiana, doing the work. How sad.
What is
blah,
that?
blah, blah. Like, I guess instead of Uncle Tom, like a female version of Tom, maybe like you're just an Uncle Tom basically is like there's a book called Uncle Tom's Cabin, and Malcolm X used to describe it. You have the house slave, and you have the slave that works in the field. And the house slave would be Samuel L. Jackson in Django Unchained. Like he loves his master.
Okay.
Uncle Ben.
That's what you are, working for a white network and just regurgitating what they told you. I never said that. So, but here's the thing: the anti-vax thing, kind of this. I hate to talk about this. Kind of went back to the fall. And going back to Joy Reid herself, about a year ago, she tweeted this. I mean, will anyone at all ever trust the CDC government again? And who on earth, God's earth, would trust a vaccine approved by the FDA? How do we get a vaccine distributed after this broken? And she's aligning it with Trump, right? Even if Biden wins. So right there.
So are you telling me that the same people?
Now, she did apologize for this. She did. I give her credit for it. Like she did say, like I said that, but
right, yeah. You telling me that the same people that wouldn't take the vaccine under the Trump administration are the same ones that are pushing it down your throat today?
Well, that's what I'm kind of saying, because I remember the vice presidential debate between Harris and Kamala Harris. I got to say her name right. Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. She said, I wouldn't take a vaccine as if the Trump himself was making the vaccine. That's not what was happening.
Well, yeah, after the Trump came out and said, let's inject people with Clorox, I probably wouldn't have done this.
Exactly.
But yeah.
That was my point is that the anti-vax thing, there were people saying it, they were probably saying it for politics because they didn't, want to sway the election. But that's not what Nikki was saying. But that's how it got taken over by the narrative. Now, this is now going on that, Nicki Minaj is anti-vaccine. She said she's going to do her own research. What does she mean by that? And today she got put into Twitter jail. They removed her from Twitter.
What did she say that warrants getting that?
I don't know. Apparently she went after Joy Reid a lot, and she even used a certain word that I can't use. Rhymes with boon. That's what you call it.
Twitter took it as offensive or whatever, probably. Yeah. Real quick, shout out Saggy Melons. Saggy Melons in the chat.
Hey!
So Nikki did nothing wrong. About to debate. Yeah. Okay. So look, I don't
listen. I don't care for Nikki.
I mean, she's still
but
on
I think she's in the right.
I think she's in the right too. Well, here's what she said. I think she has she been brought back?
Yeah.
Okay, but she said she will never use the platform again, and I think this kind of ties back to what we've talked about, cancel culture and cutting things out. And I honestly think that it was overblown, and I don't know why Joy went specifically after Nikki. Nikki never said that black people should not get vaccinated. That's not what she said, but they basically took a thread and spun their own narrative. And unfortunately, I watch MSNBC because it's a big network. A lot of people who necessarily don't listen to Nicki Minaj or follow her on Twitter are going to believe that that's what happened. And this kind of goes back to tying to the Gina Carano thing, that a lot of people just overblew something. Maybe what she said wasn't, but really, if you're taking scientific advice from Nicki Minaj, then you have issues to begin with. Like, if you're not getting vaccinated because Nicki Minaj told you not to, granted, I might do whatever she tells me to, but that's besides the point. My point is that, like, she's not a doctor.
She called her thirsty.
Yeah, she called her thirsty. Ooh.
That was my favorite part. When she called her thirsty.
I was like, damn.
Oh, okay.
But
so
okay,
this is one of her tweets saying, I never cited that as the swollen testicles as a reason why I took the vaccine. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't a reason why she didn't get it. The reason why she didn't get it is because she didn't want to get it just to go to something.
Oh, okay.
It was just so she didn't want to, because she was like, I don't want to get it and then go to an event and then have it for no reason just because I want to go to an event.
Yeah,
but that's fair. That. I'm not going to get it just to go to the Met Gala.
Yeah, that's what you say.
She said that in
right
the first one too.
Yeah.
So, but basically, I mean, the only thing that she said wrong was nothing. Actually, I can't even think of one thing. She didn't spread misinformation about vaccine. She actually encouraged that you wear the mask and get vaccinated. And it wasn't until this other woman came in and tried to spin it a different way that she actually got a little bit, maybe used some words that weren't great. And is that the reason? I want to know why Twitter suspended her, even if it was for an hour. Why did they suspend her? Because they've also been suspending other people that have different beliefs about COVID.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should be able to do that.
Exactly. And again, this comes down to a little bit like free speech issues. Like, obviously Twitter's a private company. They're not the government. But can the government impose restrictions on Twitter and Facebook and have them do their dirty work for them? I am very much against censoring even bad ideas. But I thought that Nikki was saying that.
Yeah, that's the thing about social media, though, is you can make an argument that lately, especially this past year, these social media platforms are being like the rules are going to have to change because it is becoming a part of free speech.
Yeah,
whether we like it or not.
Yeah, like newspapers or anything else. And the fact that she got taken down, I was like, damn, like really? I mean, for the longest time, ISIS was using the Ayatollah Khomeini, who literally says all Jews. He's all good. He's on Twitter. They're like, hey, what can we do? He's the Ayatollah. I'm like, why can't you turn him down?
There's also
so you can stop recruiting.
There's also
like
that
Nicki
girl.
Minaj?
There's also that girl that has she's like an anime. She looks like an anime character, and she does porn now, and she's like, she has literal porn on her Twitter, like literal porn.
Yeah.
In her on her Twitter, but we can't talk about these kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, look, it seems kind of weird for me, like when the vaccine came, I immediately started to get to work to get my dad vaccinated. He's 70, or he was 69 at the time. Called, how do I get up? Me and my mom, because we were both working in healthcare, we got it right off the bat. So yay. My sister got it late because she's neither old or does she work in healthcare, but she got it. But like, here's the thing. I think that a lot of people are saying that what's happening with people who aren't getting the vaccine is the same thing as people who don't want to get their kids like the mumps vaccine. I think it's a little bit different. I think they either just don't care, or they're kind of worried that here's a vaccine that was produced within 9 months, whereas most vaccines take like 4 to 5 years. What if there's side effects? Which is potential, we don't know. But I still took that risk. I'm like, whatever. I got both.
I got my COVID-19 is just a strand of COVID, so they already had like the vaccine for COVID-15, which was the latest strand that they had, and so they just took that strand and took the last vaccine for that, and took the COVID-19 and mixed them, and then
it's a different kind of vaccine.
Also, you really don't think that in 2020, with the technology that we have, we can't produce a vaccine in 9 months? If
they have a vaccine for everything.
Okay, I would say a year and a half. I wouldn't say 9 months is so. So just because our technology,
I'm not justifying that point of view. I'm just saying I think that's what people are thinking.
I think I'm not saying that you guys are. I'm just saying like there's obviously other reasons why it was faster than like the swine flu vaccine.
Right, because people were dying at an alarming rate.
Yeah,
and it needed to happen.
But like exactly, no, I'm not. But what I am saying is that if a lot of people have gotten COVID, there's a possibility someone who thinks they've been fine this whole time has gotten COVID.
Sure, and everyone at this point had COVID, like at some point.
Everyone has. I've gotten it. It's possible.
I haven't.
Have you been like you don't like? Well, maybe you haven't, but it's very much possible. People were like, what, I was sick in March, and I was fine a few days later, and they're like, what, I'm not going to get vaccinated. I was able to kick this thing. In fact, I actually got COVID between my first and second dose. And my doctor's like, well, technically you are immune now because you actually, basically that's what the second dose is. It's a little bit of COVID to your body's going to react to it. But if you got the first dose and you got COVID, that's basically the vaccine. But I still got the second dose like a few weeks later.
Right.
But I'm double vaxxed. Yeah, I got the Pfizer one twice.
I got Moderna.
You got Moderna?
I think so. Let me check.
Yeah. Yeah, and Justin makes a very good point. Most time that vaccines take to be approved are usually because of red tape, from my understanding. Anyway, my point is that if that's her point of view, that she's going to do the research before she gets it, I can't really say that, she's an anti-vaxxer. She's just saying she's going to do her research before she takes it. And I understand that, but I think the way that it was spun by Joy Reid, who has a huge TV audience, of which I am one, it was like, dude, you're taking what she said and you're turning it into something else. She never specifically said African Americans should not get the vaccine.
No. She just said that I won't get the vaccine for this event.
Yeah, for this Met Gala event. So, maybe I assume she lives in a very nice mansion. She doesn't have to go anywhere. She already recorded her album. By the way, Beam Me Up, Scotty's a great song. I like it.
But the thing is, this is probably, there's this whole thing where it's like, the thing that she does wrong is that she is protecting her husband and her brother, who are known sex offenders, And,
Nikki.
Yeah. Her husband, both of her husbands are, her husband's about to go to jail for 10 years for not registering as a sexual offender.
Oh, really? I didn't know she was married. I didn't know that she was married.
So, if
he's going to jail, that means she's single now.
Yeah. Well, does that mean she's single if she's going to stay married to him? Because she's been protecting him for the past 2 years for that. And so, it's exactly. What does she say is a cover up? No one knows anymore, Yeah. For what is it for cover, or to take away attention from that, Yeah. She's like, let's take away attention from my brother and my husband being put in prison, and let's say something. I think that's another problem that people are having as well. But no one's bringing that up as much.
Maggie made a comment. I want to address it. It does help prevent the rate of spread, but it really hasn't. LOL. That is why some states are going back to mask wearing. There are some states that never lock down.
Yeah, there's some states. There's some states that never lock down. That's why it's spreading. It's because they don't lock down.
But here's the thing. I'm at that point right now. So this March will make it 2 years. So in 6 months, it'll be 2 years we've been living like this.
Yeah.
And I've not heard one person mention the fact that we as Americans need to be healthier. Like one of the reasons that COVID is so deadly in America is because most of us are obese.
Yeah.
And including me, I'm overweight.
It's
that
the problem.
70% of the people who have died from COVID had obesity-related issues, heart problems. Because COVID itself doesn't
it's not going
to. It weakens your immune system.
Itself doesn't necessarily kill you, but it affects the things that are in your body, and it upends the things that can kill you.
Yeah.
And but COVID, it's a COVID-related death still.
Exactly. In the same way, like AIDS itself doesn't kill you, it weakens your immune system. So
it weakens your immune system, and then whatever.
This is what makes me mad. Nick is right. It's become a political thing. The fact that some people were saying they would take the vaccine during election season
political since 2 years ago. It's crazy.
Completely agree, Nick. We should all be together, and it's made us more further apart. I agree. But on the other hand, this is the Darwinian in me. Part of me is like, if you don't get the vaccine and then you get sick,
right?
That's kind of on you, man.
Did you see?
If you can get the vaccine, that is. If you can, some people can't.
That Good Luck Charlie, the Good Luck Charlie show on Disney Channel.
Say that again.
Do you know the Disney Channel, Good Luck Charlie?
No, I never saw that.
Oh, so an actress on that show said that she moved away from this anti-conservative, anti-Republican area in California to Tennessee, and like when the area that she lived in is very Republican and very conservative. So I don't know why she's saying that, but she's saying she's a successful Hollywood person. She hasn't had a show since 2015.
Yeah. Probably gets residuals though.
Yeah. And then she was like, and then she was going on like on this rant about how the vaccine is like the devil's thing, and everyone was cheering for it in this like political assembly meeting. And like it was just like, what is going on? Like people like this town, like there's groups of people that believe the vaccine is fake. There are people like that. There are people that believe COVID's fake. There are people that believe everything that they're happening right now is fake, which is really concerning. But like,
there is that part like who think like this is like there's like a tracking system in it or something like
right.
I'm like, okay,
the needle disappears when they give it to you. It's like, the needle disappears so they can put it in the trash bin without pricking themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's a safety thing. It's like,
I don't know what happened to Austin and Ty.
I don't know what happened with Austin either.
But I have one more topic left, kind of tied to this. And I actually like to get your perspective on it because you live in California. So this happened. Rose McGowan, a couple years ago, publicly came out. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
Well, she went after Harvey Weinstein. She kind of helped forge the Me Too movement, right? Well, recently, for some reason or another, she campaigned for Larry Elder, the guy who was running the recall thing, whatever. So, whatever.
Right.
I always say, put the politics aside. She said that basically Gavin Newsom's wife contacted her when the Harvey Weinstein thing was about to explode. And his wife basically said to her, supposedly, I'm going to get the exact quote here because I don't want tried to silence her about Weinstein. The exact quote was, what can we do to solve this situation? And yes, part of it is political because there was an election happening. But on the other hand, it wasn't covered at all. And the Newsom campaign all denied it. But I was like, why not sue her for making such a horrible allegation? And I thought that it was interesting that they people don't really want to talk about it. Look, Democrats, Republicans in government are all tied to very, very scary, corrupt people.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. Trump and Epstein. I'm pretty sure Epstein was friends with a lot of people on both sides of the aisle. But she has not been getting much attention about this. And I was surprised because I figured that, look, it's news. If you want to root out corruption, you have to do it on both sides of the aisle. And, yeah, that's Rose McGowan. Yeah. So she said that her wife apparently wanted to talk to a lawyer who was connected to Weinstein to kind of get this thing thrown under the rug. And apparently, like, she then posted this. I have no idea how accurate this is. But this is what she posted. It was connecting Newsom to Weinstein. And I won't doubt it. Weinstein has met with Oprah, met with Hillary. That doesn't mean that they knew what he was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It's like saying that Weinstein knows and met with these people does, like, it's going back to the whole the fake. Well, we know it's fake, but the whole Jeffrey Epstein plane logs, where it had Jay-Z and Beyonce and Usher and all these people. You're just like, okay, like, he went on their plane. Does that mean they're bad? No.
Yeah.
It just means that they took his plane,
Yeah.
But then we found out it was fake. But it didn't really matter at that point.
Yeah.
But again,
exactly. I do think there should be some attention drawn to it. Like, obviously, I don't think no money would change whatever. But I do think, and I think the reason it wasn't was because I think people were afraid, that the media was afraid, if we cover this might help Larry Elder. And I think that's why, as a society, we have to put that stuff aside. Go after Harvey Weinstein, but if there is some truth to this, it should be looked into, left or right. And then everything, I think Billy Robert has said, the government, everything is so political. Everything is about, well, will this hurt our side or our side?
Did something 2 years ago that, like, made her completely unreliable.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true.
Like,
I don't know what.
I don't remember, but I do remember.
She seemed to have a kind of a slow meltdown.
Talking about something, and how she was
like
going
a
off.
slow meltdown.
Yeah, she had a whole meltdown on the video that was talking about something. I was like, don't know what she's talking about, but I just remember, like, and everyone was like,
Thank you, Billy.
So maybe that's it, that she has no reliability, that they're just not, like, because she has no reliability, so they're not pursuing it, because it's like, it's Rose. She said something 2 years ago that was not reliable at all.
Yeah.
And she had a complete meltdown about it. So there's nothing to do about it, because we don't have to do anything about it, because no one's really going to believe her. And she's going to continue to spread it around her circle.
Yeah.
Because
if it's not true and I was the governor's wife or his team, I would sue. I would sue for defamation. And
I mean, it goes back to the whole thing where it's like, if someone's saying something publicly wrong about you, that you're a public figure, and it's so not true, talk to them, and if it goes further, then legally talk to them,
legally talk to him. And I would do that all the time. I think Obama should have sued Trump about that whole, like, birther thing. Not to go off topic, but, like, dude, go ahead, sue him. You made up the story, it's not true. Here is my birth certificate.
I agree.
You should have sued him. And I think that's a good way to cut down on these sort of fake rumors, like,
I also think maybe they didn't want to sue Roses because it cost this whole recall thing cost the state $300 million.
Oh, geez, yikes!
And
did we just real quick? Did we shout out Billy Robert for?
Yep. I did. Billy, thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Billy.
I'll back up there. Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, like that the whole recall cost the state $300 million. Like, and then I believe that $300 million was going to go to, like, split in half to do one thing for.
And isn't there an election next year in California?
That's the thing. It's like there's another election in 2023, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, you can wait 2 years.
Like, and if you don't like Newsom, you can out-primary him. Just get someone else to, run against him in the primary and, take his spot. How it works.
Wait out these 2 years when we're in the pandemic. The reason why they were recalling him was because his handling of the pandemic. That was the main reason. I think was, like, again, you don't want, and like
that French Laundry thing, I think, really did him in. And
that whole thing was.
And I think that's
again, you have
people goes back to the anti-vax thing. I think people look at stuff like that and they're like, well, if he's not wearing his mask and he's surrounded by people, and this is during the first lockdown, like, well, how come I have to? And I understand that. That's a fair point.
And it was like,
look, Obama had his 60th birthday, and Republicans are like, why aren't they masked up or anything? I'm like, you know what? Let him have fun.
It's
let
them have fun. Concern. It's a valid concern. Yeah. But again, it's like,
I think people look at that and said, well, if they're not taking it seriously, maybe they know something. And it's not as dangerous as
it's like this whole conspiracy theory thing.
The conspiracy theory stuff comes up.
Or it turns into like this whole thing where it's like, but I'm like, he's a governor, like, again, and he's also a person. He has his own beliefs. He has his own things.
Yeah.
But as a governor of California, he has to protect the citizens of California, you know? So he's doing that. But at the same time, he's also doing things as a regular person.
Yeah.
So if he's not wearing a mask with his friends and family, then that's on him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that helped. Oh, Nick Carr, $2.
Hey. Thanks.
And I think T.W. McKay nailed it on the head. The major issue I have, it feels like rules for thee, not for me. And I think that's part of it. And I think the Delta variant people who are, I think, even though it might be a selfish way to think of it, are like, you know what? I don't know if I want to keep living like this. And it seems like it's never going to end. And I understand that frustration wholly. I'm a social creature. I've been going out every weekend. I'm like, let's go. You know.
Thank you, Adam.
Nick Carr and Adam. There we go. Nick Carr. So Billy Robert did, Nick Carr did one, and Adam. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Happy 1 year.
I think that's what it is. I don't think it's so much like everyone who doesn't want to get vaccinated or like anti-science. While there's definitely some of them who are. They're just like,
I think the main reason why Caitlyn was running was because of the vaccine stuff. You know, like, and her like other like when she released all of her basically year one plan stuff, and that was like basically what turned off everyone like that was going to vote for, which I don't understand why people would vote for a reality star like who just got into law, you know. Like you
I feel like
Kim Kardashian after she does 1 year of law, you know.
I feel like
1 year of law, and so it's like you wouldn't vote her in.
Yeah.
So
I mean, she didn't get any votes. I think Larry Elder was.
Yeah.
Like 40%.
Larry was the major one that got
the major one.
But it was Larry and then some other person, and I think Caitlyn was like 5.
Yeah. So there we go. Look at this. Look at this. Maybe we just need to get rid of that. Look at Justin Hines. Thank you, my friend.
Heck yeah. I did have some breaking news if you guys wanted to check it out. Some breaking news. Yeah. A trailer just yeah.
Go ahead.
So we did a trailer did just drop. I don't know if you want to go ahead and share share my screen there. We'll take a look at this bad boy. But this is the first official trailer for Guillermo del Toro's follow-up to The Shape of Water, Nightmare Alley. Film stars Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, and Willem Dafoe.
Ooh.
So definitely, I mean, look, stat cast. Do you guys like Guillermo? I like Guillermo del Toro.
I like him. I love
him too.
Love him. He did a kind of underrated one, the Crimson Peak. I thought was really good. Very, very good with Tom Hiddleston. Oh, cool. It's like a gothic horror fantasy. Oh, it's very good. And then of course Pacific Rim, but let's check this bad boy out.
All right.
Step right up to behold one of the unexplained mysteries of the universe. Is he man or beast? This creature has been examined by the foremost scientists and pronounced unequivocally a man. I am prepared to offer you folks one last chance to witness this supreme oddity. Where did it come from? Begotten by the same lust and threat that got us all walking on this earth, but gone wrong somehow in maternal womb. Not fit for living. You Is it a beast? Or is it a man? You're in luck because tonight you will see him feed.
Oh, whoa!
And find out. Is he man or beast?
You said this is a follow-up to Shape of Water?
It's not. It's his. It's not a sequel in it, but this is the first film he's done. Okay. This is the first film he has done since Shape of Water.
Okay. I thought you meant like
he won the Oscar for Shape of Water. So this is his follow-up.
Wow. I mean, what was the one we did? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. The guy with the hands like this, with the eyeballs. What was that movie called?
Oh, Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth. Yes.
Yep.
And he produced
I love
that
that movie.
was pretty good called Orphanage, which kind of flew under the radar. And he was involved a little bit with Kojima's game Death Stranding because you get
right.
Wasn't he supposed to do Justice League Dark for DC?
He was set up for Justice League Dark. Yep. He's a lot. Look, I love Guillermo del Toro. I actually had the pleasure of getting to meet him and hear him speak at UNLV here in Las Vegas right after he won the Shape of Water. And that was really, really cool. I did not know he is very, very intelligent guy and a very I love hearing these guys talk because you learn just how passionate and how much they love cinema and making movies and why they make the decisions that they do. He's had a lot of involvement in a lot of movies over the years. I know he was involved with the Hobbit or with Lord of the Rings to some extent.
That wasn't The Hobbit. I think he was supposed to do The Hobbit when it was one film. And it became two films, and then Peter Jackson, we're going to do 3 Hobbit films, and I think at that point he was out.
Yeah, he was like, all right, too far. Another good one that I thought was really, really, really good. It was funny because the trailers didn't make it look as good as it was, but it was like, this is the movie that Transformers should have been, which was Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, that first movie was good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Really good.
And it was a lot of
Charlie
fun.
Hunnam.
Charlie Idris Elba.
Did Guillermo just do a Pinocchio stop motion film?
For Netflix, he is doing a Pinocchio film, correct?
Okay.
Yes. Yes, for Netflix.
And then Pinocchio is also doing it for Disney Plus as well.
Right, with Tom Hanks as Geppetto.
Which is perfect casting.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. We're going to get did they already didn't they say Keegan-Michael Key is
he's the fox.
Is what?
It's the fox character. You know the fox.
He's the fox.
Okay. I thought what was the Jiminy Cricket? Who's Jiminy Cricket? I thought he would play Jiminy Cricket.
I think that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh.
Yeah, let me
Joseph Gordon fan.
That's not. I like that. I am a big Joseph Gordon-Levitt fan. Which, by the way, shout out Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's got a screenwriting class for his show, Mr. Cornman, on Apple Plus. That he's going to be doing in September. That I'm going to take. Yeah. So definitely look forward to that. But yeah, guys, I'm super excited. That trailer looked cool. I like Guillermo del Toro's stuff. I loved The Shape of Water. I loved Pacific Rim. I love Hellboy. Can't go wrong with Hellboy, man.
He did the one too, didn't he? Did he do Hellboy 2 also?
Yeah. He did Hellboy 2. I campaign. I still want to see Hellboy 3. That deserves.
Why they rebooted that?
They need to. And that reboot was not. They should have just done 3 if they were going to put money into it like that. They should have just said, "We'll just finish it," because that reboot was.
Luke Evans plays the Coachman, and it's a different take on the Coachman. He's going to be more. The Coachman's the one that turns the kids into.
Right. Luke Evans always is a villain in a Disney movie. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
He looks like a Disney villain, like too good looking.
Beauty and the Beast. I know, right?
Did you guys watch Harriet?
About
Harriet Tubman? No, I did not.
I did not. No.
But do you know the actress that was in it, Cynthia Erivo?
Yeah,
she's playing the Blue Fairy.
That's good. If you have not heard that actress,
I remember when it was reported that it was her or Beyonce, and then in Disney Plus.
You know what? They're both good.
They're both. I'm like, they both will be really
Cynthia?
Either one.
There's a great movie called Bad Times at the El Royale. If you haven't seen it, there's a scene
Yes,
in it
yes,
with
yes.
Cynthia Erivo. She's sitting there. She sings in the movie, and
that's her. Okay.
It caught you by surprise.
What's the song she sings at the end?
I don't know, but I'm gonna rewatch. It's like she's so good.
I have that on my phone. I loved it.
It's so good, and I remember hearing that and walking away from that movie like, oh my gosh, that girl is gonna be the next big thing. She can sing. I'm sure she can dance if she can sing. Mm-hmm. She can act like nobody's business. She's one of my favorites right now, Cynthia Erivo. But yeah, I can't.
I'm gonna look that up. I didn't realize that was the same actress.
Yeah. I just read something and I was like, maybe we can talk for 10 minutes. I know that Jack has to go.
Yeah, Austin, do you want to close out the show? I gotta go.
If you want to go, we'll close out. We can always leave it for next time. I don't want to leave.
I'm saying if you and Austin, you and Caden want to keep going.
Well, Caden, let's just save it for next time. We'll start off the next episode with it.
For next time.
Okay, all right. Yes, the show cannot go on without me.
If Jack leaves, we gotta shut it down.
I think Jack would want to talk about this too. It's about Amber Heard and her former assistant accusing her of verbal abuse.
Who is this?
Amber Heard's former assistant.
Oh, yeah, that's the gossip stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, see how excited Jack got? Yeah, we'll save that.
Yeah, now I'm excited. Yeah, we should have talked about that instead of the damn vaccine.
Right, yeah.
Well, it just came out.
Okay, yeah, we're going to, oh boy, okay. Well, tomorrow's our 1-year anniversary. I think Ty's got something planned for tomorrow. Yeah. And guys, make sure you follow Austin Lean at
AlienLV1023 on Twitter. You can always find me there. I have some fun hot takes. Then, of course, I'm always here on Pop Culture Corner. And I got some fun things in the works, guys. So definitely follow me on Twitter because I'm going to be announcing a lot and doing a lot of stuff on there. So AlienLV1023.
And do not forget, a new show every Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern. 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. So, folks, use your smartphones to figure out where you are on the globe for Lean on Me. That's LIEN on Me. That's right. Monday nights. Make sure you check it out. Always, folks, if you miss a show, just go back and watch it. That's okay. I believe it or not, most viewers of Jivin' with Jack watch this show afterwards for some reason. They don't want to see me live. I get it. Fine. They just skip over me to hit the fast forward button. And you can follow Caden on Twitter. Also, he's our producer. If you ever want to maybe join our panel or something, you contact Caden or you contact Austin or you contact Ty. Don't contact me. Leave me alone.
Don't contact Jack.
Always contact me. Also. All right, guys. Folks, we appreciate you.
Caden, let them know. Caden, let them know your Twitter real quick too.
It's literally my name, Caden Reed. Simple as that.
Cool.
Yep, Caden Reed, CAIDEN.
And REED.
REED. Caden Reed. Follow him. You can follow me, Jivin' with Jack, on Twitter. And I tweet once every few weeks, so that's great. But if I do check it, message me, join our conversations. Remember, folks, we do it for you, and we do it for the culture.